underway, with prosecutors and the defence sparring over gun safety. Correspondent Lauren Tomasi is at the Santa Fe courthouse.
Gun safety will be at the centre of the prosecution's case against Alec Baldwin, with the actor accused of playing make-believe with the weapon during opening statements. Lawyers for Baldwin say no crime was committed even if Baldwin had pulled the trigger. The gun should never have had a live bullet. Confronting body cam vision was played to the court, showing the moments after cinematographer Helena Hutchins was shot. As the jury watched on, Baldwin appeared uncomfortable but focused on the screen. The manslaughter trial is set to run for 8 days, with Baldwin facing the possibility of 18 months behind bars if convicted. In Santa Fe, New Mexico, Lauren Tomasi, 9 News.
Katy Perry is set to follow in the footsteps of Kiss and Robbie Williams and headline the entertainment on the final Sunday in September at the MCG. Reports out of Melbourne say she's in final negotiations to perform at the 2024 AFL Grand Final. Perry hasn't toured Australia since 2018 and is just about to release a new single with an album to follow a week before the big footy game. And Inside Out 2 has become the highest-grossing Pixar film of all time, passing The Incredibles. It's made $1.25 billion worldwide and is the fourth highest-grossing animated film in history. Now to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Alex de Minaur has been forced to withdraw from Wimbledon due to an injury. Jordan Tunbridge reports from London.
A devastating blow for Alex de Minaur ahead of the biggest match of his tennis career. The ninth seed from Australia forced to withdraw from Wimbledon just hours before his quarter-final clash with Novak Djokovic. De Minaur hurt himself in the last game of his fourth round.
We love Jimmy Day. I don't know when
he had torn cartilage near his hip. Holding back tears, de Minaur said he tested out the injury in practice, desperately wanted to play, but his body wasn't up to it. Djokovic gets a walkover win and will take on Lorenzo Musetti for a spot in the final against Carlos Alcaraz or Daniil Medvedev. Musetti beating Taylor Fritz in an epic five-setter.
Well, it is selection night for the Crows and Port Adelaide ahead of their round 18 matches this weekend. Adelaide has already announced defender Hugh Bond will make his debut. And former Port Adelaide assistant Jared Schofield will take the reins as interim coach at West Coast after the club sacked Adam Simpson and he turned down the offer of coaching for one final game. Let's go to soccer. England is locked in a tense battle against the Netherlands in their Euro semi-final. The Dutch took the lead in just the 7th minute, but England hit back via a penalty just 11 minutes later.
The storied England captain, England's most prolific goal scorer of all time. Harry Kane delivers for England again.
Audio there thanks to Optus. It's still 1-1 with only about 15 minutes left in the match. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Rain for your Thursday with a top of 15. Showers increasing tomorrow 16. Saturday a shower or two 15. 15 again on Sunday. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Living independently is an important part of life. For those who need accommodation in a thriving environment with support and care available, Always Care is always there. We'll match your loved one with suitable housemates and disability support workers to ensure they enjoy independent living in a supportive community. If you or a loved one requires accommodation with care, Always Care is NDIS approved and passionate about helping all live their life to the fullest. Find out more at alwayscare.com.au.
It's our first Christmas in July at Wayville Hyundai, and we're inviting you to join us by popping a gift under our Christmas tree for Kickstart for Kids. Together, we can help. Change the way you Hyundai at Wayville Hyundai, opposite the showground.
Have you ever tried to go four-wheel driving in a hatchback? Maybe you decided to clean the gutters without a ladder, or perhaps you and your partner chose to put some flat-pack furniture together without following the instructions.
That's never a smart idea, but now you can make it McSmart with the new McSmart meal from Macca's.
That's right, your choice of 2 cheeseburgers or 2 chicken and cheeseburgers, or one of each, with a small fries and small soft drink for just $6.95.
Available 10:30 a.m. through till midnight at participating restaurants, excludes McDelivery.
Get the garden you want at Garden Grove.
Wander through Garden Grove's beautiful nursery, blooming with thousands and thousands of plants, greenery and all the colours of the rainbow. There are plants for inside and plants for out. For the garden you want, see Garden Grove. Golden Grove Road, Golden Grove.
Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, the garden that I want.
Phone 8251 1111 for delivery to all areas.
Setting the agenda for South Australia. This is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
7 minutes after 6. Good morning to you all on this dreary Thursday morning. Currently 12.4 degrees, so not as freezing as perhaps it was yesterday. It has been wet and wet overnight. We're still expecting up to 20 mils, but we'd love to hear from you this morning. If it's raining at your place currently, what time it started overnight. I think it was supposed to come in about midnight. I'm house sitting in Prospect at my cousin's, and it was certainly wet overnight. Good morning to you, Will.
Morning, Luce. Yeah, if you like rain, have we got a day for you today? It was coming down pretty strongly as I came in a short time ago. It got me thinking, because you wake up in a morning like this, and the rain's hitting the roof, and depending on what your roof's made of, you get the most pleasant sound on planet Earth to wake up to. And in fact, not even to wake up to go to sleep to. There's nothing better than rain pattering on the roof. Have you ever used any of those relaxation apps, or those the apps that make
ASMR?
sounds? What is it called?
I sometimes use ASMR to fall asleep.
And is that options for rain?
No, it's not. But so you're saying there are apps which, it's like you go to a spa, Dota Spa, and they have
and it plays some sort
like
of
a trickling brook or a rain on the roof type situation.
I never really, they didn't really work for me that well, but I did go through a stage where I had this one phone app, and all it had was 10 different versions of rain. So it was like rain in a blowing gale, soft rain pattering against a window, rain on a tin roof.
Yes.
It was excellent. I wonder if any of our listeners have got something similar.
There are lots of apps like that. I used to use one called the Calm app, I think, or the Calm Sleep app, and it was celebrity voices just reading out a total nonsensical story, but just in a really calm way.
Like which celebrities?
I think Alan Rickman, I reckon, did one when I was back listening.
Great voice.
And
falling asleep to Professor Snape, though, as a Harry Potter enthusiast, must have felt a bit strange.
I know, but I'm a big fan anyway. I was happy just to listen to him, and it worked. I'd fall asleep. Now in this job, I could fall asleep in this chair if you asked me to, Will.
Yeah, it's a superpower that you've got. I think you need to have it to survive. But I just think every time there's a day like this where it's already heavily raining when you wake up, you're reminded that it is one of the most pleasant sounds on planet Earth. But if you do like it, plenty of opportunity to nap over the course of today. Did you say 20 mils we're expecting?
I think we are still expecting in the realm of 20 mils. The BOM app, as we know, has sort of expanded their statistical analysis and prediction. So 75% chance of at least 9 mils. So we have a high chance of getting at least 9 mils, a medium chance of at least 15 mils, and 25% low chance of at least 20 mils.
Okay, so that's the high end of what's expected.
That's the high end. So realistically, we're going to get 9 mils today across the day.
It's interesting. Sometimes we confuse cold and wet, and they don't necessarily go hand in hand, and that's been the case so far for July. If you look at the rain figures, whilst June caught up in terms of what we expect month on month every year, July again has been dry up till today. We've got a bit of catching up to do.
Well, last year in July we had 45.8 mils across all of July. The Adelaide average for July is 75.3, so we have been a bit behind the last few years.
So we're 11th of July, and this would get us in the, I'm guessing off the top of my head, the 10, 11 mil range?
Yes.
Today?
Yes. Needed. June, when we had 83.8 mils, that all happened in 2 days, didn't it? We were waiting forever for the rain. I hope it gets to the regions today. I am pumped because today's movie watching day. So my day looks like radio, Pilates, my new thing.
Yeah, Pilates enthusiast, Lucy Lokan.
Movie, nap as my day.
Sounds perfect. Perfect rain day. Well,
Right.
People might also be planning their perfect rain day this morning with how much was necessarily going to be on the way. It's already changing some behaviours from our listeners. Wally the Walnut on the Dutton's text line says, I didn't walk Chloe this morning because of the rain. Rain came in around 12:30am, and I never miss a walk. Tin Roof is the best. Thank you, Wally.
Yeah, Wally's dog Chloe is a border collie, and my cousin's dog at the moment is also a border collie called Lily. And it's really tough with collies. My dog Maisie, especially. What do? They get so bored, they just stare at you, but you don't take them out because they've got a lot of fur that sheds. So not only do you have a dog who sheds a lot and therefore has to be inside when it's raining, if you get them wet, then you got wet shedding fur everywhere.
Oh, that sounds like an absolute disaster. Our resident stats man, Ben Jordan, says rain to July 11 this year is at 173 mils, about 100 mils below the average. The driest to this point since 1967, when the city had just 112 mils, and it's the 16th driest start to a year, dating back to 1839. So despite today's rain, we are still in the midst of one of the driest years ever in recorded South Australian history. Amber says, when my daughter was a baby, I used to play Rainforest Magic to put her asleep. It has rain sounds and worked as a treat. And Rob says, the rain is my go-to, or waves gently crashing on the beach. Good to help me go to sleep. Or any of my wife's reality shows will do it as well. Good on you, Rob.
The reality shows is an interesting one because I know they're not everyone's cup of tea, but usually they involve some form of American people yelling at each other. I don't know how that would send you to sleep.
Not particularly relaxing.
If you use ASMR or Rainforest Magic or rain sounds, whatever it is that you use to go to sleep, we'd love to hear from you this morning. Also, how much rain you've had overnight. Tell us how the conditions on the road are in your area. There probably are a few trees down. It was a little bit windy. So please let us know all this morning, 8223 0000, or text us on the Dutton's text line 0448 08 1395. As I mentioned, Thursday is Movie Wheel Day, the movie bowl at 6:30. 6:50 afterwards that we're chatting with Miley Hogan. The Alec Baldwin trial is underway for his part in Rust, the filming of Rust. He could face up to 18 months in jail, but Miley's across that from Santa Fe, New Mexico. After 7 o'clock, we'll be flashing back with Michael Smith. And Matt Abraham today. Now, Will, in your absence last week, Matt Abraham was absolutely thrilled to be sitting here with the Premier for half an hour.
Oh, I bet. Did he give him the rounds of the kitchen?
Yeah, it was pretty good viewing. Sam was on holidays, and Sam turned off the radio the entire week except for that segment.
Yeah, that's Matt, I think himself would describe it as almost pathological. If he's locked anywhere with a politician for longer than a period of a handshake and a good morning, it becomes testy.
Yes, he'll fill you in on what
Looking
happened
forward to
after that. And after 8 o'clock this morning, Josh Rochelle is in studio with us. The Crows take on the Saints, of course, Saturday night at Adelaide Oval. We'll catch up with Josh. As always, 8223 0000. It is 6:14.
Will retirement living suit you? You're invited to FIVEAA's free open home events across Adelaide from the 23rd to the 25th of July to get a sneak peek of the lifestyle you could enjoy. Come along with family and friends to explore all our communities have to offer. You can inspect our display homes, discover our social activities, meet some of the residents, and chat with our friendly team. Take the first step and search a FIVEAA Open Home to RSVP today.
Welcome to Life's Key Moments, brought to you by First National Real Estate.
The key to my home where my furry friends are always welcome.
The key to endless adventures in my retirement.
The key to growing our own veggies and plenty of space for the kids to play.
The key to living the dream away from the big smoke.
The kids and girls night?
Every night. Your key to happiness awaits. Visit firstnational.com.au or call 1800 032 332. First National Real Estate. We put you first.
Harvey Norman, home of the new Samsung Galaxy range with Galaxy AI. Amazing pre-order bonus offers on now. Pre-order the new Galaxy Z Flip 6 or the Galaxy Z Fold 6 and receive a bonus 1 year of Samsung Care Plus and a $200 gift card. Pre-order the Galaxy Watch Ultra and get a bonus $250 gift card. Or pre-order the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro and get a bonus $80 gift card. Hurry, offers end July 30. Harvey Norman, home of the new Samsung range with Galaxy AI. Conditions apply.
It's high time to book your tickets aboard the Highlander, Steam Ranger's new service from the Adelaide Hills to Strathalbyn in honour of the town's 185th year. with 2 return trips departing Mount Barker, just 30 minutes drive from the city on the 1st, 3rd and 5th Sunday mornings of the month from June to November. Riding behind vintage steam trains, classic diesels and heritage rail cars. Before you ride the line, go online at steamrangerheritageраilway.org.
Feeling the calm of the ocean, making it to my daughter's wedding, lunch with the grandkids. This is palliative care. From the time you or a loved one is diagnosed with a life-limiting illness, Palliative Care Connect can provide you with information and links to palliative care and emotional support services across South Australia. Learn more at palliativecareconnect.com.au. Palliative Care Connect is supported by funding from the Australian Government Department of Health and Aged Care.
Did you find a builder for your odd-shaped block?
No, not yet.
Have you talked to Rossdale?
No. Should I?
Yeah, you should. They're the difficult site specialists. They did a free site inspection for Sarah when she was building, before they'd even bought the land. They told her what she needed to know about the block, which saved her time and money in the end.
Get a Rossdale Homes free site inspection before you build. There's no cost and no obligation. Rossdale Homes, because trust is a must.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
News headlines in a moment. We've been talking sleep tactics. Margaret from Parafield Gardens has called in. Morning, Margaret.
Good morning. Yes, I'm very new to this, even though my grandchildren have had white noise for years and years. Obviously, it helps keep them asleep, but it drowns out the noise, the background noise if the other family members are noisy. I use one that's a little portable one, and I'm fine to get to sleep, but I wake up at about 2, and then I put it on, and it's got quite a few choices. So you've got lullaby. It's even got a mother's like heartbeat.
Oh, yes.
And but I agree with Will. I love the rain, and on any given night, I will change it up. You know, it might be like a gale, and other times it's just a light patter, like on a tin roof. But it's so effective, and I just don't know why I haven't used it for years.
Yeah, they can be frighteningly effective, those ones for kids. When Rosie was sleeping in our room in her cot when she was first born, had a little teddy bear that you'd squeeze its hand, it would make white noise, and it would run all night for those exact reasons Margaret just described. And eventually she sort of grew out of needing that. But the moment you push that thing on when I'm around, and it's like a hypnotist show when they click their fingers and say sleep, I'm gone the moment that thing's hands gets squeezed. I think I needed it for longer than she needed it, to be honest.
Yes, thank you, Margaret from Parafield Gardens. White noise, I guess it's just like the little machine that you just buy for babies, but if you need it as an adult, why not?
It's actually it's a horrible sound. I don't know why it works, but it does.
Well, it's right. It sort of sounds quite loud and intrusive.
It's like static almost.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that would just, I'd be lying there thinking about life too much if that was the background, but anything like a trickling river or...
Oh, yeah.
You know, when
water needs to be involved in some way, I think.
But not so much that you sit there thinking you need to go to the toilet.
It's a fine line.
It's a fine line. Moving on. Headlines this morning. A single car collision on the bridge over the Port River Expressway at Wingfield last night caused massive road closures. Police were called to Hanson Road around 8:30 after the car burst into flames. Major crash is investigating. Roads are back open this morning. Consular officials have spent 4 days going from hospital to hospital in San Francisco to track down a leading Australian executive who'd been bashed. Chief Executive of Grain Producers Australia, Colin Bettles, was mugged and seriously injured while on a work trip, but couldn't be identified after his phone and wallet was stolen. I think they only discovered he'd been injured after his wife realised he hadn't gotten his flight back to Australia.
Oh, that's awful. And he's obviously in a bad way if they have to go physically hospital to hospital to find him. I hope they find him and I hope he makes a full recovery. That's awful. San Francisco, you said, didn't you? It's got a horrible reputation. See, I've been there once before, and there was a very obvious problem there with homelessness that I understand has only gotten significantly worse, largely through policies of the state. But it's funny for a place there's so much wealth in that part of the United States. It's oddly become a particularly at times dangerous place to go to, and unfortunately, in that case, let's just hope he's found and ultimately he's okay.
$7 million is being poured into the response to a deadly strain of avian influenza. Australia is the only continent to not have recorded any H5N1 detections, but it is spreading through North and South America, killing hundreds of thousands of poultry, wild birds, even wild mammals. Agriculture Minister Murray Watt says the funding will help strengthen biosecurity measures and surveillance capabilities.
Particularly in Northern Australia, the most likely gateway for birds coming in from other parts of the world, but also exploring vaccines, improving communication with farmers and the general community. As I say, really just to make sure that we're as prepared as we possibly can be.
Bird flu hasn't hit South Australia at all. I know interstate there were different strains, and some of them have even been brand new strains that they've just detected over the course of the last month or so, totally hindering farms, especially Victoria, I think, has been hit the worst.
Well, I remember Victoria went to before I disappeared for a couple of weeks, was the place that had happened, and then I think subsequently there was some incidents in New South Wales, and then we got that really peculiar announcement from McDonald's that they were going to shorten breakfast because of the egg shortage.
I know, how rude, cutting it off at 10:30am. If you haven't had breakfast by then, I mean...
I reckon around 10am is the kind of time that people who are going to have a McDonald's breakfast are going to have a McDonald's breakfast, if you know what I mean.
Well, the read we just did for McDonald's, they're starting their McSmart menu at 10:30am. So you go from a bacon and egg McMuffin at 10:29 to 2 cheeseburgers at 10:30.
There you go. See, it's weaning everyone off the eggs. Going to have to find breakfast alternatives.
Delicious.
In these times of egg-related austerity.
The latest analysis of wastewater across Australia shows cocaine and ice use in capital cities has reached a record high. The Australian Criminal Intelligence Commission report shows average consumption of MDMA, ketamine, alcohol and nicotine is also up. The organisation's Shane Nielsen says cocaine use was highest in Sydney, but the substance use varies between the capital cities.
In terms of methamphetamine, capital city consumption was highest in Melbourne. For MDMA, Hobart per capita had highest consumption, and heroin, the highest consumption was Melbourne.
Adelaide missed out on a gong there, thankfully.
Well, historically, I think for methamphetamine, we've ranked either first or around the top. So I'd have to drill down on that data there, but that's potentially a good news story for us here in South Australia.
Yeah, I think if they did local wastewater analysis, which they do every few months, historically cocaine's been quite high here, but equally so meth, especially in the southeast region centre of Mount Gambier. I know that's usually quite high.
Yeah.
Police in Mexico have made another arrest in connection to the murders of Perth brothers Jake and Callum Robinson, killed while on a surfing trip in May. The 31-year-old man has been taken into custody. There was a warrant out for his arrest for aggravated homicide. I think he's the 5th arrest they've made for these murders. And still in overseas news, a double-decker bus crash has killed at least 18 people in northern India after colliding with a milk truck. Dozens more have been rushed to hospital. The bus was travelling to New Delhi on one of India's most congested highways.
Oh, that's just awful.
That's awful. What did that say? 18 people colliding with a milk truck. Have you ever been on the double-decker airport bus here in Adelaide?
No, I have not.
I think it's like the O-Bahn, or in that if you don't ever need to catch it, but one day you want to do it just because you can. 82230000. Anyone sat on the top level of the double-decker bus to the airport just because they can?
I'll dob in my parents. They take their niece, their granddaughter, not my daughter, my niece. Often on days when it's their babysitting day, they'll go for a ride on the O-Bahn. They'll take it from the city all the way out and go out there and have a cup of coffee and then come back in.
My dad does that when he comes to Adelaide. He'll say, I'm just going to go get a train to somewhere. It's a real novelty thing. People, if it's not your regular, why not? And I often see that double-decker bus, which would be the only double-decker bus in Adelaide, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I can't think there's another one going around. Trains I get. I think trains are a great form of public transport. And clearly it doesn't add up dollars and cents wise to have more. I can only assume that. And that's why we don't have more in Adelaide. But the convenience and comfort of riding a train to work, I think, is unparalleled. I think it's a great way to travel. I'm totally in Bill's court when it comes to train enthusiasm.
Matthew Pantelis, of course, drives one every year for the Christmas pageant.
Exactly right.
So Matthew's on holidays, otherwise I'd be on the phone to him asking how the experience is. Top of 15 today, 12 degrees currently outside in Adelaide. Says it feels like 8.7. We are expecting up to 20 mils, at least 9 mils today of rain. Tomorrow we're in for 15 again. A few showers, not as much. So 14 on Saturday, 14 Sunday, 13 Monday, 13 Tuesday, and 13 on Wednesday. So a chilly mid-July is up ahead. Time now to join Tom Wren in studio. I'm sad about this Rennie old Alex Demonor. We'll get to it in a moment. Thanks to Gladderall Garage Doors. Colours, custom design, any house, any style, gladderall.com.au.
Yeah, me too. That was a terrible result for him, wasn't it, with that bad hit? We'll get to that in a moment, as you say. Just some breaking news before that, Lucy. For those soccer fans out there wondering what's happening, England found themselves a goal down again in their semi-final, looking to make it through to the final. They equalised with a penalty, Harry Kane. And then this happened in the 90th minute for England.
Watkins! Bang on 90 minutes!
Oh, no. They won.
England! Amid delirious drama!
So the fans have, not surprisingly, gone absolutely crazy.
Wow.
He's played 5 minutes the whole tournament. People are saying, how has this guy not been playing more? But they do it again. They've gone dead and buried several times in this tournament. And here they are. Gareth Southgate answers the critics once more. They're into the final where they'll now play against Spain on Monday morning our time.
I think Gareth Southgate would have been polling at the same level as bird flu 90 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like, they'd made it to this point of the tournament. No one wanted him still in the job.
Mm-hmm.
They thought they were squandering this. We spoke about it yesterday, this really talented squad.
Yep.
Yeah. Now they're into the final.
Into the final, they'll play Spain.
It could be coming home, Rennie.
It could be coming home.
Is this... I want you to answer this, Rennie, and I'm interested of our listeners. And I'm almost scared to say this on radio in Australia. I find myself not actively cheering, but wishing the best for the English football team. I know that's un-Australian, but they've been so bad for so long.
Yeah.
They're so long suffering.
They're the perennial underachievers, aren't they?
Completely.
Yeah.
And they promise so much. And they've lost... There is no more permutation of heartbreaking loss that the English football team can visit on that country.
Yeah.
Like, they've done it all. They've been, if you've been alive since 64, you've seen it all.
Yeah, they go out in penalty shootouts, heartbreak, red cards, you name it. They've had it all.
That's right.
So it would be a huge result for them if they could do it. So one game away. They made the final last time 4 years ago, and it is you sort of. It's hard to cheer for them, but you also, that story.
I just have this sort of weird sport fan sympathy for them,
yeah,
I think.
Yeah, and they are great to watch.
Maybe I'm weak and un-Australian, Rennie. I think that's what you were saying.
Not at all.
Bit.
Not at all. When they're going, they are good to watch. They've got so much quality. On a much sort of sadder note, Alex Demonor last night, I was so excited for this match. But remember, he hurt his hip late in the game, or the match against Arthur Feast, and he just couldn't go on. It was a pretty significant injury. Let's have a listen to Alex Demonor. He was in tears, basically, when he was explaining to reporters why he couldn't take to the court against Novak Djokovic.
I felt a loud crack during the last 3 points of my match against Fils and got a scan, confirmed that this was the injury and with high risk of making it worse if I was to step on court.
So, Luce, he's going to miss the next 6 weeks. He won't play at the Olympics either. He's obviously going to miss Wimbledon. This was his third ever quarterfinal, first at Wimbledon at the All England Club. He'll get another chance. He, in my eye and my mind, he's raised his game to a level now where he's a genuine top 10 player and can win a Grand Slam. But
do you reckon he would have beaten Novak?
I think I was so confident he was going to win. I think it was a genuine flip of the coin. Novak's won it 7 times, so you can't write Novak off, but he's on the downward trajectory, and I think Alex Demonor's on the way up. I think he had a huge chance. I really do. So I'm gutted for him.
Who do you reckon wins Wimbledon now?
I think it's Alcaraz. I think the winner comes from that final. Lorenzo Musetti, what a win last night against Taylor Fritz. That's outstanding. So he now plays against Djokovic. I expect Djokovic to win that. Great for Italian tennis, by the way. You've got Musetti on the men's side and Jasmine Paolini, first ever Italian woman to make a semi at Wimbledon on the women. But I think the winner comes from the Medvedev and Carlos Alcaraz match.
Definitely.
I think I'm probably writing Novak Djokovic off at my peril. But yeah, grandstand finish should be great, but disappointing for poor Demonor.
Very disappointing. Thank you, Tommy. Movie Bowl is up next after the 6:30 news.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Rain and 15 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Chipped windscreen. RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
A fatal crash at Wingfield is under investigation. Police were called to Hanson Road around 8:30 last night. A 27-year-old man was killed in a single-car collision on the bridge over the Port River Expressway. His Nissan sedan bursting into flames on impact. It's the 47th life lost on our roads this year. Hollywood heavyweight George Clooney says it's time for Joe Biden to pull out of the presidential race. US correspondent Jonathan Kersley has the latest.
Last month, George Clooney hosted a fundraiser for America's Commander-in-Chief, helping to raise Joe Biden's campaign $28 million for his re-election bid. Now in the New York Times, the Hollywood superstar said the Democrats cannot win November's presidential election with the 81-year-old as the nominee, saying the Joe Biden he saw at the debate was the same Joe Biden he saw at the fundraiser. The criticism comes at a high-pressure time for the president, who is fighting for his political future and hosting world leaders at the NATO summit in Washington, D.C.
There's a push to promote International Men's Day in the same way females are celebrated on International Women's Day. One Nation MP Sarah Game is behind the campaign. She says it hit her after she'd spent some time in Parliament that hardly anyone was interested in celebrating the special day for men on November 19.
And I realised, there's actually a lot of celebrating for International Women's Day. I had so many invitations I couldn't actually attend all the events I was invited to. And it just really stuck out that there had been no event organised for International Men's Day. And
more workers are feeling the pressure to ditch work from home and return to the office. More from Gabrielle Hodson.
A survey from recruitment firm Robert Half has looked at 1,000 Australian white-collar workers and 300 managers, finding that 38% are being ordered back to the office full-time. That's up from the 19% at the same time last year. It also found about 14% of staff had full flexibility over where they wanted to work, up slightly from the last survey. News Corp is reporting that hybrid work arrangements are now seen as one of the most valued perks for office employees, but that may not last. Robert Half says the pendulum is swinging away from the home office as the jobs market tightens and employers regain their power.
Increased costs to consumers are on the horizon as international conflict in the Red Sea forces cargo ships to reroute their journey. The added 2 weeks of travel via South Africa's Cape has increased fuel costs and bottleneck ships in Singapore. It's created the worst congestion since the COVID pandemic. And Queen Camilla was at Wimbledon on day 10. She took part in a Mexican wave during Taylor Fritz and Lorenzo Mussetti's quarterfinals match, while the Princess of Wales' parents, Carol and Michael Middleton, were also courtside. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Incredible scenes in Dortmund this morning where England has advanced to the Euros final after a 90th minute dramatic winner against the Netherlands. England trailed 1-0 early but levelled things up in the 18th minute via a penalty to captain Harry Kane before Aston Villa striker Ollie Watkins won the game in the dying stages.
Watkins! Bang on 90 minutes! England amid delirious drama!
Amazing stuff. Audio there thanks to Optus. England will now meet Spain in Monday morning's final. Well, Alex de Minaur has held back tears as he was forced to withdraw from Wimbledon overnight. The 9th seed succumbing to a hip injury ahead of his quarter-final clash against Novak Djokovic.
I'm devastated, but I had to pull out due to a little tear of the fibre cartilage that kind of is at the end or connects to the adductor.
Lorenzo Mussetti beat Taylor Fritz in 5 sets and will now take on Djokovic for a spot in the final. It's selection night for round 18 of the AFL. The Crows already confirming they will blood another debutant with 19-year-old Hugh Bond set to play on Saturday night against St Kilda. Well, the pain of missing out on a medal in Tokyo is driving the Matildas ahead of their Olympic campaign in Paris. They'll open their campaign against Germany in a fortnight's time. Defender Ellie Carpenter says they're hungry for silverware.
Coming fourth in the Olympics at the World Cup, but yeah, the Olympics just stings that little bit more as
I think coming fourth at the Olympics is honestly the worst place you could come.
Yeah, let's hope they can medal this time around. Mel, that is the FIVEAA Sport.
Thank you. Now the FIVEAA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
Rain today, 15. Showers increasing tomorrow, 16. Saturday, a shower or two, 15. 15 again on Sunday. Right now, it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
FIVEAA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
8223 if you'd like to vote on our movie selection in a moment. We will get to that. Couple of texts on the Duttons text line. Save thousands at the big Nissan demonstrator sale on now at Duttons Nissan Murray Bridge. Easy to do business with. We've had a few double-decker riders, Will.
Yeah, we have. In fact, there was a report, thanks to Isabel, who says there was a regular Mount Barker double-decker service to Adelaide, Mount Barker to Adelaide.
Yes.
Not aware of that, Isabel?
No, Sean also says he's sat on that Adelaide to Harndorf bus on weekends. Very interesting sitting up the top. It hits a few low leafy trees on the glass.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
There's
we'll
a
add it to the
Saturday
list.
activity.
There you go, something else for Bill to do. Speaking of jobs to do, disturbing to report this, Luce, and I don't think we've ever had to do this before. On the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook and YouTube live stream, the iPhone on a stick needs a cleaning. It's all covered in rain. Look at that. It's all. We need someone. It's like that TV show Silo. We need to send someone out to do a cleaning.
Brooklyn, who runs our camera. Brookie, if you just jump up on the roof for us, that'd be great.
No,
Thank you.
Brookie's needed here. We need someone expendable. It's raining. It's high. No, not you, Sam Dado. You're required as well.
No, we want to hear how wet it is in your suburb this morning. If you've had rain overnight, we'd love to hear from you this morning. 8223 0000. You can also use that number to vote on our movie selection. It is time for the movie bowl/wheel. All thanks to Wallace. Movies are better on the big screens at Wallace Cinemas, Mitcham, Mount Barker, Noarlunga, and the Piccadilly. Wallace.com.au. Now, Sam's in here to spin the wheel, but Will, you're in charge of the movie list this morning.
Oh, no, I've never been entrusted with this information before.
Yeah, and do it well, would you?
I'll do my best. That's all I can promise.
All right, Sam, give it a big spin.
Rigorous spin this morning.
That was much stronger than Paddy's spin last week.
Oh, 24.
24.
24 is the number.
Okay.
24 is...
Now, if you're reading that list and you're can't read how my system is, if the film is in bold, I've already watched it. So
okay, we can't do that because it was Goodfellas, which you did not
that
like.
Was last week.
I'm still getting texts about that. But let's go to 2012. 2012.
Oh, okay.
So, semi-recent history, 2012. Django Unchained up against Skyfall. So that is...
I don't even know what Django is.
Django Unchained is a Quentin Tarantino film. One of his 8 movies. Leonardo DiCaprio's in it.
Right.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Skyfall's James Bond, right?
Skyfall's James Bond. Skyfall, I think, I've really struggled to keep up with. So get voting now, folks. 8223 0000. What would you like Lucy to review? Django Unchained or Skyfall? My Bond people, obviously, I think vote Skyfall. Quentin Tarantino fans are a very passionate group of movie lovers that want to spread the gospel of Tarantino. So I imagine a few of them will ring in too. 8223 0000. Get calling right now. Skyfall, and as I was about to say, I've struggled to keep across the most recent Bonds and what's been happening. That one I do remember because it looked spectacular. I couldn't tell you what happened in the movie, but I remember the cinematography was beautiful. There's some of the shots of bits and pieces were quite extraordinary to watch, but I could not tell you one thing about the plot.
The only thing I know about Skyfall is that Adele sang the main song in it.
That's right.
Called Skyfall. We'd love to send someone as well, one of our callers, off to Wallace with a Wallace Cinemas family pass, so please call in 8223 0000 to have your vote. Lucky it's a rainy day. If Django gets up, it goes for 2 hours 45 minutes. There's my afternoon.
Skyfall or Django Unchained, two very different forms of cinema. Joe, good morning.
Yeah, look, Skyfall's great, but Django Unchained, it's got to be Quentin Tarantino. Fantastic movie.
Joe, you're a Quentin fan. Is that why you're picking it over a James Bond?
Yeah, he's always got that standard of film, but Django is fantastic.
Wonderful. Thank you, Joe. Dave in Alberton. Morning, Dave.
Morning, guys. It has to be Django. It's a test to get through it. It's a bit of a long one, but I absolutely, Tarantino fan, so you have to watch Django.
Is Django Unchained, Dave, is that the first movie? Is it a sequel? Or
No.
Standalone?
Yeah, it's just standalone. Yeah, standalone. It's a fairly long one. I think it's the best part of 2 hours, but it is a brilliant movie. Yeah, I've watched it many times.
Excellent. Thank you, Dave.
Keep the votes coming in, 8223 0000, Skyfall or Django Unchained. A few Dutton's texts coming through. Quentin says anything by Tarantino is a winner. Rob says Django for the Jamie Foxx performance. It's brilliant. And one here from Skyfall. Someone here didn't put their name to the text, but says Skyfall's Daniel Craig's best one as Bond.
Yeah, there's another one who says, please watch Skyfall, if only for Daniel Craig with some love hearts attached to it. I don't disagree with that.
You're a bit of a Daniel Craig fan.
I'm not outwardly. Like, I don't have
Right.
someone who I go, gee, that's a good-looking guy. But, I don't think he's ugly in any way.
What's an actor, male or female, that if they're in something, you'll definitely go see it? Is there anyone that has that sort of stature for you?
Probably Hugh Grant.
You love Hugh
I
Grant.
love
don't
Hugh
you?
Grant.
I should have known the answer.
Should have known. But I think because of the characters he plays, it's always sort of that
Foppish,
pathetic, floppy kind of guy who's not really sure what's going on. Pathetic, but in a good way.
Good way.
And I refer to him, even pathetic in Love Actually, as the Prime Minister. He was still sort of a bit...
Yeah. He's perfected that character.
He
Hugh
sure
Grant.
has.
Quentin, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, Quentin.
I just love the way, Lucy, that you're asking everybody, are you a Quentin fan? And it's very nice of you to ask that. Yeah, Tarantino movie every day, all day.
Are you only voting that because he's your namesake, Quentin?
No, I'm his namesake. No, he just makes great movies, and I just love the way he does cameos in all his movies. It's hilarious.
Excellent. All right, I'll expect to see Quentin Tarantino in it if I'm watching
Have
it.
we had a Quentin Tarantino film that you've had to review yet? Like, when people say that, do you have any sense what that means is coming? Because a Tarantino film, there's some expectation that comes with that. There are certain elements that are going to be consistent across all of them. I don't want to say anything.
I haven't done Pulp Fiction, no. Haven't done Pulp Fiction. Haven't done Inglourious Bastards. Haven't done...
You didn't see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood
no,
recently?
I haven't seen Reservoir Dogs.
Kill
Haven't
Bill.
seen Kill Bill, no. I don't think I've done a Tarantino film in the Movie Bowl or ever, actually, looking at his list.
So this is from 2012. This will be an interesting one because everyone else got to Django having had a long history with Quentin Tarantino, but for you it'll be your entry point. So that'll be fascinating. Sue and Mylor, we might you might kick off our final couple of votes. What should Lucy review?
I like Django Unchained, but it's got to be Skyfall. It's my favourite Bond film ever.
Thank you, Sue.
And it's the biggest selling Bond film ever.
Is that right? I did not know that, Sue. That's
Well,
good fact.
Thank you, Sue. Well, that's promising for the Bonds out there. David in Greenwith, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Luce. Look, I'm going to go Skyfall, but if you're going to watch Django, because that seems to be the go, you better have a very, very strong stomach.
Okay.
That's all I'll say.
Excellent. Thank you, David.
David, now she's definitely looking forward to it.
Gosh. All right, Frank in Prospect, good morning.
Good morning, people. I've seen both movies on the big screen because my nephew was a sound editor for filming. So I would advise you, Lucy, to go see Dead Poets Society again.
Well, it was my only five-star movie over the last 18 months. But Frank, you've got to give me one of the two, Django or Skyfall.
I'd go for Skyfall.
Thank you, Frank. That makes it 3-3.
Okay, next caller through decides.
Next caller through decides.
8223 0000. Next caller through decides. We got three apiece. There was a late run for Bond and Skyfall.
A few people here saying Skyfall, definitely a great movie. This David says, haven't watched much Tarantino, but Django was superb. Lucy, you have to see Hugh Grant in The Gentleman. Very different for him. Yeah, a lot of Hugh Grant's films over the last sort of 5-10 years probably are less pathetic and floppy Hugh Grant from 4 Weddings and a Funeral, quite differently. This one, Lucy, Django Unchained is the most violent movie I've ever seen. Thanks, Jane with the Y. Ian's not a fan of this segment because all of the films seem to be excessively violent and gory. Well, Ian, 2 weeks ago I watched Dead Poets Society, gave it 5 stars. So they're not all violent and gory.
Not always. It's not designed to catch Lucy out and make her uncomfortable. The casting vote goes to Ben. What's Lucy reviewing, Ben?
Sorry, it's a long one. Django for me.
Thank you, Ben. All right, we'll find out tomorrow
Ben.
morning. Lucy's first Quentin Tarantino experience. What does she make of it? That's coming up on the program at this time tomorrow.
Ben, for having their deciding vote, I'm going to send you along to Wallace Cinemas with a family pass. Catch a movie this week at Mitcham, Piccadilly, Mount Barker or Noarlunga. For sessions, visit wallace.com.au. So yes, that does go for 2 hours and 45 minutes on Netflix. So if you don't hear from me at all this afternoon, Sam and Will.
Yep, we know what you're doing.
I will be watching Django, and someone says here, Lucy, you can never unsee things. I'm really not filled with much confidence that I'm going to like it. Is this going to be another did not finish like Mad Max, I wonder? TBC on that one. Let's check the traffic. Enjoy improved wellbeing and fitness in a welcoming, fun environment at Brain Body Fitness Studio, Unley and Woodville.
Thanks, Lucy, and morning, Will. Roads are pretty damp. Those showers are going to be hanging around for the rest of the morning, so take it easy on the way to work today. Look out for lights on the blink at Old Noarlunga, Main South Road near Victor Harbour Road. Seaton's got a burst water main this morning, Trimmer Parade near Green Avenue, and slow for work South Road at Glenadwell near the Crossroad, overpass road plates in use there. Cameras at Marion Road, Glynn, and Tusmore Avenue at Tusmore. The Audi demonstrator clearance is on now, with exceptional opportunities on select demonstrator models at your Audi dealer until August 31. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Save on winter breakfasts at Coles with Uncle Toby's Oats Quick Sachets, 320 to 350 grams, now half price at just $3.15. Warm up your morning with oats for just $3.15. That's great value, hands down at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday.
Emergencies don't recognise business hours. They can happen at any time and need professional attention in no time. With Adelaide's only 24-hour private emergency department, Calvary Adelaide provides expert treatment at any hour, on any day. You'll experience shorter wait times before receiving personalised care from experienced professionals. For emergency care 24/7, trust South Australia's newest state-of-the-art hospital. Calvary Adelaide, 120 Angus Street, Adelaide.
If you're thinking of building or you're renovating your kitchen, you have a lot of choices to make, but the first choice should be Smeg. We have an amazing Smeg showroom right here in Adelaide. Debney Distributors is in Dudley Park with Steve and the gang. Inside you'll find the full Smeg range on display.
With everything from ovens, cooktops, dishwashers and refrigerators to wine cellars, kettles, toasters and more, Smeg seamlessly pairs powerful performance with architectural design. There are even cooking demonstrations they put on there that are spectacular. You can really taste the difference with Smeg. Smeg's also been proudly made in Italy since 1948, and their colour design and technology is world famous.
Smeg, technology with style. Visit the Smeg showroom today at Debney Distributors, Harrison Road, Dudley Park.
The critical part of any healthcare is the care. It's about being by your side when you and your loved ones need us most. Through late night fevers, through the rough and tumble of weekend sports, through weird rashes, mystery aches, and knowing in your heart that something's not quite right. From surgery to rehabilitation, through emergencies, mental illness, chronic diseases, and for better health. Your doctor cares. Let's take care of them too. Authorised by Dr. David Pope, Sasmoa, Adelaide.
At Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, we've launched out of the starting blocks and we're flying down the track with our huge demo clearance. All demos are going to race out the door, like Demo T-Rocks from only $35,990 drive away. We're first for easy on-site finance options and top of the podium for convenient next-day servicing with complimentary loan vehicles. Get in first for Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's huge demo clearance. Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city. Rego S22 3CYX.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
Bang on 10 to 7 this wet Thursday morning. Please let us know how it is in your area. We'd love to hear from you this morning. 8223 0000 for the official rainfall update. We head over to Simon Timke at the Bureau of Meteorology. Morning, Simon.
Morning, Lucy. Morning, Will.
Now the rain hit sort of overnight. Simon, how much did we get? Do you know?
And it has been fairly steady overnight too, and looking on the radar, a little bit more to come yet as well, I think. But looking around the metro area, we've recorded 4.8 millimetres here in the city. And generally over the plains, the order of sort of 4 or 5 millimetres. Has been a bit wetter over the southern hills in particular, from those areas sort of south of about Mount Lofty. Most places sort of picking up the order of 10 to 15 millimetres. The wettest spot being Noarlunga with 15.2 millimetres. The hills to the north of Mount Lofty not quite so wet. Most places picking up about 4 or 5 millimetres there. But as I said, a little bit more to come on the radar yet, I think. So we'll see showers tending to rain at times, probably easing back a little bit during the afternoon, so a bit wetter through the morning than during the afternoon. And it is a bit windy too. The north to northwesterly winds will be pretty fresh and gusty today. We do have a strong wind warning out for metro waters. And then as the cold front moves across around the middle of the day or early in the afternoon, we'll see those winds turn around a bit more west to southwesterly. And they'll ease back a little bit then as well. But with the rain and the windy conditions and cloud about, keeping our temperatures on the low side during the day, we're expecting a maximum of just 15 degrees for the city today, 15 as well for Elizabeth, Noarlunga and Glenelg, 13 degrees for Mount Barker today. Following that change, we stay in a fairly southwesterly airstream for a number of days with 1 or 2 showers likely each day. There's a couple of embedded fronts in there as well, which will cause the showers to increase a little bit at times, but certainly 1 or 2 showers likely every day for the next week or so. Maximum temperatures sort of struggling to get much more than 15 or 16 degrees, with a couple of cooler days early next week, just 13 degrees for Monday, Tuesday next week. So some cooler days ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you, Simon. Appreciate that. With the rainfall, you can jump on the Foodland Supermarkets live stream at 6:45 every morning. Brookie's got the full forecast, and today had a radar up there of the absolute deluge that we're set to have shortly. Let's head over to SA Police. Senior Constable Scott Duval's on the line now. Scott, good morning to you. Let's start with this sad fatal crash at Wingfield last night.
Yeah, just quickly, it's Senior Constable Scott James. I'm not the AC Duval. Sorry
Oh,
to correct
sorry.
you on that one. We'll make sure I correct that one.
Scott James. My apologies, Scott.
That's all good. Yes. Sorry, are we talking about the Wingfield or the Paralawi?
The Wingfield one.
Yes. So about 8:30pm last night, police were called to Hanson Road after reports of a single vehicle collision on the bridge over the Port River Expressway. Nissan sedan immediately caught fire upon impact. The driver and the sole occupant of the vehicle, a 27-year-old man from Salisbury North, has sadly died at the scene. Hanson Road was closed at Hines Road, along with the exit ramps from the Port River Expressway onto Hanson Road, but have since been reopened. Major Crash attended the scene to investigate the circumstances surrounding the crash. This man's death is the 47th life lost on SA roads this year.
Very sad. All right, from Wingfield to Paralawi then. What took place there? Someone tried to do a runner, it sounds like.
Yeah, so just before 3:15am this morning, patrols were travelling west on Kings Road, Bolivar, when they sighted a gold Holden, doing burnouts at the Kings Road and Bolivar Road intersection. Witnesses told police the same vehicle was overtaking traffic on the wrong side of Kings Road before sliding and crashing into a roundabout at the intersection on Whites Road. Patrols performed a U-turn and located the vehicle crashed into a Stobie pole near the roundabout. The driver had left the scene. PD Axe was called in to assist with the search of the driver and tractor sent onto North Thorngate Drive, where the driver was located in a nearby riverbank. He was arrested by patrols. Subsequent search of the vehicle located numerous keys to other vehicles and registration plates that didn't match. Checks also revealed the driver didn't hold a current driver's licence. So he was a 31-year-old from Paralawi. He sustained minor injuries from the crash, but he was also charged with misuse motor vehicle, driving without due care, unlicensed, unlawful possession and breaching his curfew, and he will attend the Elizabeth Magistrates Court today.
Excellent work by Police Dog Axe there, Scott. Now this final one, yet another drink driver caught on our roads, this time at Mount Compass.
Yes, let me just bring this on up. Sorry, the screens have just decided to blank out on
I hate it when that happens. Drives me nuts. Usually leads to some choice language being directed at technology once the microphone's turned
Yes,
off. Feel free to use that.
So this one was just after 3pm yesterday, the 10th of July. Patrols were called to Gorge Francis Drive after reports of a white VY Commodore driving erratically and doing burnouts. Patrols were on scene quickly, however the car had left the area. Police were making further inquiries when the white Commodore drove past them on George Francis Road. Patrols followed the car and stopped a short distance away on Sand Milne Road, where they spoke to the driver. He was a 34-year-old local man. He was submitted to a breath test and he provided a positive result of 0.188, which is almost 4 times over the legal limit. This high-range drink driver was issued 12-month immediate loss of licence and his vehicle was impounded. He was reported for drink driving, misuse motor vehicle, and he will be summoned to appear in court at a later date.
Thank you, Scott. Apologies for calling you the Assistant Commissioner's name.
No, it's a good promotion, but me.
Sorry, that is Senior Constable
Thanks, guys.
Scott James there from SAPOL Media. Yes, Scott Duval is the Assistant Police Commissioner. At least they're both in policing. I got that right at least. A couple of texts this morning, Will, on the weather. Chris, we're all jealous of you, Chris, at the moment from Elizabeth Downs. Instead of being in Elizabeth, you're up in North Queensland where it's 24 degrees and perfect.
Enjoy it, Chris.
Wouldn't that be nice? It's still relatively dark here this morning. The rain is coming in. Sunrise set to be 7:23 this morning, so be careful out on your roads if you're driving on your way to work or the gym or somewhere early this morning. In the meantime, let's head over to the United States. Miley Hogan is following the Alec Baldwin trial in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Joins us now. Good morning to you, Miley.
Good morning.
They've 24 hours ago, they were choosing the jury to be part of the trial. What's happened in that 24 hours?
And well, guys, we've got a jury, and opening arguments have already wrapped up today. They're right now hearing from some of the first witnesses in this case. But I'll take you through the opening arguments because that really did give us a clear idea of how the prosecutor and the defence are going to build their case. The prosecutor here is really going to try and put gun safety at the centre of their argument, saying that Alec Baldwin was negligent, he was acting recklessly with that weapon on set, and they'll need to prove that if they want to win. Whereas the defence is really going to go, it's really pushing that Alec Baldwin is an actor here, that he was just playing a role and that it was the responsibility of other crew members to make sure that that gun was safe.
I heard some of the argument his defence put, Miley, that he's saying he didn't even pull the trigger. Now, how's it possible that we got to this tragic circumstance if he didn't even pull the trigger on the gun?
This is going to be a major part of the case, and today, interestingly, the defence actually kind of appear to distance themselves from that argument.
Right.
So to take you back, in 2021, after this happened, Alec Baldwin did a television interview, and in that interview is where he has now famously said, "I never pulled the trigger." They have now said in the defence, in those opening arguments, that even if he did pull the trigger, then the only thing he would have done wrong is get his statement wrong. That he did not commit a crime if he did pull the trigger because you're allowed to on set. So it will, but they did also say no witnesses have seen him directly pull the trigger either. So look, that will be interesting to see how they end up framing that because it's been such a big part of Alec Baldwin's defence on this up until this moment. I never pulled the trigger. I only pulled back the hammer. So it appears they're kind of trying to distance themselves from that now.
And the other thing I found particularly interesting with the little tidbit I heard of the opening arguments was, and this was unclear here in Australia where we've got a little bit of distance to this case, he's being charged for his conduct as an actor on the set with a gun in his hand, not because he's an executive producer responsible for the environment in which this would have happened. Is that an accurate portrayal of the charges against him? It's him with a gun, not him as someone who's in charge of the workplace and environment as an executive producer.
Correct, and that was a big win for the defence and for Alec Baldwin, who was also going to be held, also the evidence of him being a producer was going to be brought into this trial. But the day before it was due to start in the pre-trial hearing, the judge said, no, you can't include evidence that he was a producer on this movie, only that he was the actor. So that's a big win for the defence because none of his activities as the producer will be able to be brought into evidence into this trial.
And the expectation is this will be wrapped up in the next 9 or 10 days or so?
Yeah, it's an 8-day case, 8-day trial is what they're aiming for, and then the jury will go out for deliberations, and we know that can take a short time, a long time, however long the jury wants to take. But it is only meant to go for 8 days, and the judge has been trying to keep to that timeline, so we should have an outcome on this quite soon.
Yeah, it's a fascinating case and a great report. We look forward to seeing it all on 7 News tonight. Thank you, Miley.
Coming up on the show, after the 7 o'clock news, our morning wrap with stories. Also speaking with Jordan Mumford from the SDA about this public precinct order extension. The Rundle Mall security set up by police has been extended for 6 months, and we'll be flashing back with Michael Smith on the Stock Exchange.
The very latest news and information. This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Rain and 15 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Chipped windscreen. RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
There's been a fatal crash at Wingfield. It happened on Hanson Road around 8:30 last night. Senior Constable Scott James says there was a single-car collision on the bridge over the Port River Expressway.
Nissan sedan immediately caught fire upon impact. The driver and the sole occupant of the vehicle, a 27-year-old man from Salisbury North, sadly died at the scene.
It's the 47th life lost on our roads this year. A Hollywood heavyweight has joined calls for Joe Biden to pull out of the presidential race against Donald Trump. George Clooney telling the New York Times the Democrats cannot win with the 81-year-old as the nominee. Just last month, the actor hosted a fundraiser for his re-election bid, raising $28 million for the campaign. But former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has backed President Biden when asked whether she thinks he should stay on.
He has made the decision. He has said firmly this week he is going to run. Do you want him to run?
I want him to do whatever he decides to do. And that's the way it is. Whatever he decides, we go with.
Katy Perry is top of the ladder for this year's AFL Grand Final entertainment. The American singer is expected to headline the event at the MCG in September. Perry is just about to release a new single and album. Government advisors are warning that kids' data could be collected and sold from apps used at school. Gabrielle Hodson has details.
The Network for Quality Digital Education says that with few rules, schools and parents are not only wasting money on so-called educational apps, but children's data could be potentially collected and sold. A UNESCO report's found 89% of EdTech resources recommended during the pandemic could or were collecting information about their young users. News Corp is reporting that educational technology decision makers are selecting apps with limited info about what's safe and what'll work best. The network wants a consistent national approach to selecting EdTech, with independent assessments on how effective an app or program is at teaching students and if what's being taught actually matches the curriculum.
And Prince Harry has been in front of the cameras again. He's taken part in a new documentary about phone hacking for ITV. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
What's happening at Wimbledon, Tom Wren?
Well, Aussie Alex de Minaur, unfortunately, Mel, he's handed Novak Djokovic a walkover win in the Wimbledon quarterfinals. The ninth seed says he couldn't play due to a hip injury suffered at the end of his fourth round match.
I felt a loud crack during the last 3 points of my match against Phils and got a scan, confirmed that this was the injury and with high risk of making it worse if I was to step on court.
Yeah, it's a disappointing result, isn't it, unfortunately, for de Minaur. Now, Djokovic will head on to face Lorenzo Musetti in the semi-finals and for a place in the final against either Daniil Medvedev or Carlos Alcaraz. Meantime, on the women's side of things, Barbara Krejcikova has beaten Yelena Ostapenko in straight sets to move into the semis. And the favourite now for the tournament is Elena Rybakina, the fourth seed, easily taking care of Ukrainian Alina Svitolina 6-3, 6-2. Let's head to the AFL, where Adam Simpson has declined the offer of a farewell game as West Coast coach. The premiership winner will be part of a pre-game ceremony. Meantime, Crows midfielder Sam Berry says he and the club are thrilled to have Harry Bond playing this weekend. The 19-year-old defender will be the club's fourth debutant for the season, and Berry has told Rowie and Timmy G he's a very popular teammate.
Yes, very, very happy for Bondy. It's been a long time coming. He's a boy from Ballarat who's very hard at the footy, and he's just a really good person to play with. He'd do anything for you and for the team. So very excited to have him in.
Yeah, good stuff. And England fans will be celebrating long and hard into the night in Dortmund in Germany. That's after a thrilling 2-1 win against the Netherlands in their Euro semi-final this morning, which sees them into the final where they'll now meet Spain. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
G'day there, those showers are with us a bit this morning. Some pretty damp roads on the drive-in, take it nice and easy. And look out for lights playing up at Old Noarlunga, Main South Road near Victor Harbour Road. Coromandel Valley, Bridge Wall is damaged there, getting fixed up at the moment. Main Road near Ackland Hill Road and Seaton Burst Watermain, Trimmer Parade near Green Avenue. Cameras this morning, Arthur Street, Tranmere and Glenburn Road at Burnside. The Woolworths online super sale is on now with a free delivery on orders of $250 or more until July 16. Shop woolworths.com.au. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
15 is the top today with rain. Showers increasing tomorrow, 16. Saturday a shower or two, 15. And Sunday, 15. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
What's got Mike singing? Mike just got an energy-efficient heat pump installed by EcoVantage. Not only is it using nearly 80% less energy than his old hot water system and saving hundreds off his power bills, he got it for free. Thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you can get your own energy-efficient heat pump from just $0. Pump your energy bills down with EcoVantage. Visit ecovantage.com.au.
If the bank's declined your business loan, no worries. Universal Finance make business loans easy. No financials required. Unsecured business loans and business overdrafts. Universal Finance can help your business now. For lightning fast settlement, sometimes in just a matter of hours. See Universal Finance in Kent Town today. Or search Universal Finance right now. This is general advice only, and you should consider the terms and conditions before determining whether this advice is suitable for your situation.
What starts with A and ends with E? Supplements for you and me.
Arbor Vitae health supplements are now available at Chemist Warehouse for just $49.99 a bottle. You save over $19 a bottle at Chemist Warehouse.
Arbor Vitae.
They smell value from 100 yards, hold Wednesdays and Saturdays sacred, and bring home the metaphorical bacon. With the odd 75-inch TV. They're Aldi to the core. Aldi. Good different.
Drums, please. Unprecedented, unparalleled, unrivaled. For the very first time, Edwardstown Mazda is offering discounts greater than 10% on all Mazda demonstrator models. Every demo, every model with a minimum discount of 10%. Plus a minimum trade-in of $2,000 on your old vehicle. This offer is exclusive to Edwardstown Mazda.
It's gotta be
Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
Stay informed, get involved. 5AA, always Adelaide.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
8 minutes after 7. Good morning to you on this dreary Thursday. Rain is set to come. Today is the wettest day of the upcoming week, but going to be quite cool for the next week or so. Coming up this hour, Michael Smith with Flashback, Matthew Abraham. Then after 8 o'clock, Josh Rochelle from the Crows joins us. We also have Crows tickets to give away today. This is a good one. This is to the Crows bunker.
What a great way to watch. That'll be terrific.
Stay listening to how you can win those. Crows take on St
Chance to
Kilda
get the 4 points too
Saturday
against the
night.
Saints this weekend. They'd be very disappointed if they didn't get a win on the weekend, the Crows too. So looking forward to chatting with Josh. Another debutant to introduce us to, Hugh Bond, playing his first game on the weekend. So Josh Rochelle always does a nice job giving us a bit of a behind-the-scenes look at these new young characters before they've played a game, so we get a sense of the sort of person that we get to cheer on the weekend. So looking forward to chatting with them a little bit later in the morning. The most confronting story in South Australia at the moment, this morning, is one that broke during the morning's program yesterday on 5AA. It led every news service on TV last night, and it's the front page of the Advertiser this morning, and the statistics in it are horrifying. There are 4,500 children in state care at the moment, and keep that in the back of your mind as you listen to this. Almost 50 people were charged in relation to sexual offences against children in state care, not over the past decade, not over the past 5 years, but over the past year. 50 people charged in relation to sexual offences against that cohort of 4,500 kids in state care 2 of those sexual offences resulted in pregnancies. Why do we know this? Well, it's not because the Department of Child Protection issued a press release, called an emergency press conference and said, South Australians needs to know this is what we're up against. The reason this came about is because of a question asked at a Budget and Finance Committee in May. The department couldn't answer at the time. They took it on notice, and they've subsequently answered that question. They've written in and answered the question. 49 people charged with a sexual offence against a vulnerable child in the department's care. One of them was a DCP staff member, but we knew some detail about that previously. This is just as horrifying. 34 children known to the department have died in the 2022 and 2023 calendar years. That's 58 died between 2019 and 2022. That actually was the thrust of the questioning at the Budget and Finance Committee. How many of these kids are dying? Again, not sure why this stuff is a state secret. Now, quite appropriately, the questions now go to what kind of level of care has been provided. I mean, the name of the job is state care. Doesn't sound like there's a lot of care going on at the moment. So the questions have gone from the opposition now to the Minister, Katrine Hildyard, as to her not just suitability to conduct the portfolio, but what the look is when right now state care in South Australia is in crisis, but the Minister has split responsibilities between being the Minister for Domestic, Family and Sexual Violence Prevention and Recreation, Sport and Racing. Now she's argued, and did so yesterday on the morning's program, that this is all achievable. I can do both. I can wear both hats. But the government has a credibility and a perception problem now, because it looks like you leave the all-staff meeting about kids being abused and duck off to the one about gather round. Have a listen to Katrine Hildyard yesterday on the morning's program with Graham Goodings.
I am not going to get drawn into ridiculous, petty politics. I am absolutely focused on transforming the child protection and family support system. That is a really complex job. I am utterly focused on it, and we are making changes. I've been very open about how complex the challenges are, very, very open. I've been very open in the media about these vile predators that target children and young people. I've been very open about the fact that these children and young people face really, really complex issues. And the other thing I've been really clear and open about is that I will not shy away from these challenges, been open about sharing them. I have
Well, Minister, can you tell us when you...
From the minute that I became Minister, I set about making sure that I was notified. I put in place a new comprehensive procedure to make sure that I was notified whenever there were any significant incidents.
The Premier of this state is best ability, I think, Lucy, is his ability to... It's determining the pub test. He's the pub test Premier. He knows when the public thinks something stinks. And people are happy to can text in and tell me otherwise. But I reckon right now we need someone with a singular focus to take carriage of this department and this crisis. We can't have it being teased out in estimates committees and so forth in Parliament, the number of kids that are dying and being abused year on year, and it being treated just one as a group of portfolios. The Minister says she's got a singular focus, but we know she doesn't. It says it on the business card. The Premier needs to step in and act. The state government has stepped in and acted on another story this morning. The declared public precinct, you might recall this came about, we covered it on the program. We did, I reckon, Lucy, and you'll remember this better than I will, we had a couple of days where there were a host of break-ins at shops on Rundle Mall, staff being terrorised and so forth. And then people started calling us. Shop owners were telling us.
Youths just being intimidating.
That's right. Things were out of hand. People hated going to work. People felt unsafe in their workplace. So the state government did act and declared this a public precinct in the city. And it gave police greater powers to do on-the-spot searches, ask questions of people and deal with...
More presence.
Have a bigger presence on the street and deal with people who are being antisocial. That's been extended once. It's just been extended again, and it's been welcomed by the union that represents shop workers in the city. Jordan Mumford's the Assistant Secretary of the SDA and joins us now. Jordan, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning to you both and your listeners.
So what are the kind of benefits that have come about as a result of the declared public precinct in the city that your members have spoken to you about?
Well, as you've just said, I mean, the increased police presence and additional powers do give them a certain ability to go search people for weapons and so forth. But to be completely honest, I think the biggest change that's occurred amongst the members that we represent is just the feeling of having a constant and ongoing police presence in the mall has really deterred some of the more antisocial and violent behaviour that we saw earlier in the year, and they're feeling more safe going to work, and so that's a really positive outcome.
Would you like to see some sort of permanent declaration made or some legislative change to make this permanent as opposed to this sort of piecemeal, will the declared public precinct be extended for another period approach that we've got at the moment?
Look, I think the additional 6 months does give us a decent amount of time to see what this looks like on an enduring basis and what the resource capacity of SAPOL is to continue to do this. But we did also earlier this year have a retail crime roundtable that was chaired by the Premier, and arising from that, there's now a retail crime task force that's been established, and that sees government, employer representatives, SAPOL, and union and workers represented in that forum. And so we're working through a whole series of measures we think can rein in some of the worst elements of this antisocial behaviour we've seen. And so I suspect we'll have some thoughts coming from that task force that is happening, but certainly an additional 6-month extension here gives us some good insight to see what some of those solutions might look like moving forward.
Well, your members deserve to go to work and feel like they're not going to get abused, spat at, hit, or have to deal with some sort of shop theft that's going on. That seemed to be part and parcel of the job, like ringing up sales, unfortunately, in recent times. So it's good to hear that's changed. Jordan, thank you for coming on, mate. We hope, if not the change is permanent, at least the change in behaviour that's come about as a result of this policy is. Jordan Mumford, the Assistant Secretary of the SDA here in South Australia. Big news out of the AFL, Lucy. And I do this with some degree of hesitancy this morning because previously we had great insight and the inside running on Pearl Jam playing at the FIVEAA Adelaide 500, and it turned out it didn't happen. So with a degree of trepidation, we can announce this morning that Katy Perry to play the AFL Grand Final.
I got the
in the news throughout the morning. Last year in 2018, played the T20 World Cup final ahead of that in 2020 between Australia and India. The advertisers reporting that they're in advanced stages of conversation with Perry's management raises an interesting question, I think, for our audience. Your dream AFL Grand Final entertainment. Who is your dream AFL Grand Final entertainment with one caveat? They can't have played it before. Someone who you'd like to hear do it. So you can't say Lionel Richie. You can't say...
Meatloaf?
Meatloaf. Well, unfortunately, Meatloaf is otherwise engaged now. 8223 You can text us on the Duttons text line as well, 0448 08 1395. Your dream AFL Grand Final entertainment. Maybe it's Kate. We might have someone out there that would nominate Katy Perry. You've got your hand up, Lucy.
I would like to nominate Katy Perry.
You'd nominate Katy Perry?
Love her. Her 2014 Prismatic tour I saw in Melbourne at Rod Laver Arena. Most incredible concert I've ever been to. Pure spectacle, 3 hours of entertainment. The production value was insane, and she sounds great live. She's got a massive voice. I would really like her. Someone's texted in, Matt, said Katy Perry, bit girly for an AFL Grand Final. Look, I don't take offence to that, but aren't we trying to promote AFLW as a sport in this country? Junior girls footy, SANFLW, who cares if it's a bit girly for the AFL Grand Final, as long as she can perform and be entertaining.
I think she's a big enough star. I think she's a...
Totally. And she's engaged to Orlando Bloom. I mean, she's got an incredible famed life behind her. I don't think she's too girly at all.
8223 We've got some Illuminate tickets to give away.
Yes, we do have Illuminate tickets. A family pass for Illuminate this year to both Fire Gardens and Eden. So 8223 Give us a call. Matt in Seacliff's called in. Morning to you, Matt. Who's your pick?
It would have to be Oasis.
Oh, I second that, Matt. What about this one, Matt? Rank this in your Oasis tunes.
opened up for them a couple of years back.
Oasis is a fabulous choice. Thank you, Matt. Our phone lines are absolutely blowing off the charts here, so we might take a while to sift through them, but we'll get to you as best we can. Mark in Highbury, morning to you.
Good morning, how you going?
Who's your pick?
I reckon Taylor Swift would be good.
I think that'd be the AFL's pick too, Mark. Taylor Swift to play at the grand final, they'd need a second MCG to be built on top of the first one. In fact, that'd be the only halftime entertainment, I think, where you get a bigger crowd to the entertainment than you would to the actual game. Well,
Totally.
we did. She sold out the MCG twice.
Beck, good morning to you. Who's your pick?
Morning. Yes, I would recommend Bruce Springsteen.
Bit of Bruce.
That'd be my pick too, Beck. I reckon the boss would be sensational. Let's go to Carricalinga. Adrian, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Very good, Adrian. Who's your pick?
Mine would be an Australian classic and worldwide band would be AC/DC. I know they're old now, but because it's a dream, it'll be 80s, 90s AC/DC. You got Shoot the Thrill, Thunderstruck,
well,
all the great tunes that would lift everyone in that crowd as well as all the players.
I tell you what, Adrian, if no one's awake now, this will do it for you. Great nominations, all of them. I would just love to go to an AFL Grand Final, especially if Katy Perry's there or if Taylor Swift's there. AC/DC, a couple on the text line nominating AC/DC as well. The Boss, someone said U2. Coldplay. Look, I like Coldplay, big fan. I don't know how they'd go as AFL Grand Final entertainment, like a bit of
I think it'd work.
Clocks,
I actually think it'd work.
bit of Yellow, Pembo's least favourite song on the planet.
He can't even hear you, but wherever he is right now,
He's shuddered.
He's upset and he doesn't know why. I think we should give the Illuminate tickets to Dave and Carricalinga on the strength of the fact that so many people have said AC/DC on the Duttons text line.
I think it was Adrian. Winter nights are for Illuminate Adelaide. Explore a brave new world where cold nights and bold ideas collide. Tickets from illuminateadelaide.com. Coldplay are in Australia in November. They're playing in Melbourne and Sydney.
They could fly there on a sort of a recyclable paper jet or something or other and do a show. Wouldn't that be something?
You know, Perth, Western Australian government paid them $8 million to play one show in Perth last year, and now they've come back to Australia on a world tour. Anyway, it's a story for another day. Traffic this morning. Enjoy improved wellbeing and fitness in a welcoming, fun environment at Brain Body Fitness Studio, Unley and Woodville.
Thanks, Lucy. Rain passing through for most of the morning. Take it easy on the way to work today. Look out for lights playing up at Old Noarlunga, Main South Road and Victor Harbour Road. Coromandel Valley, bridge wall is damaged from an earlier crash on Main Road near Ackland Hill Road. Speeds at 40. Slow for works at Glandore South Road to the Crossroad overpass. With the camera today, Marion Road at Glen. The fantastic clearance sale is on now. Save $100 off the Melody Queen bed, just $399. Head in store or online to find your fantastic T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Every South Australian deserves a place to call home. That's why the state government has developed the Housing Roadmap, releasing land to build tens of thousands of homes and training the workers to build them, investing in the infrastructure we need and fast-tracking planning approvals. We're making big moves now to build more homes for this generation and the next. To learn more, visit housingroadmap.sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
I'm high! The Excelsior Hotel has always felt like home, with meals from just $12, like soup from $12 with garlic bread, half beef or chicken schnitzels, $16, sweet and sour pork with rice, $16, bangers and mash, $18, 1 or 2 piece fish and chips from $16, and 250 gram porterhouse, $22. Gotta love the Excelsior Hotel lunchtime menu. Feels like coming home, but better. You just know it's a Bro Hotel.
The Adelaide Hills are most certainly alive. So many new families are now making the tree change. These people enjoy the space. They seek change. They've chosen to discover what is on the road less travelled.
And if you're heading up the hills to the freeway, take the Bridgewater exit and you'll soon be discovering the home of Nissan in the hills.
So if you're on the lookout for a new Nissan Qashqai, look no further. They've got stock available now at incredible prices with unbeatable Adelaide Hills Nissan service. Go see Tian, Simon and the local team at Adelaide Hills Nissan in Bridgewater.
So take the road less travelled to Nissan's home in in the Hills and check out their savings and offers. Adelaide Hills Nissan since 1954. Mount Barker Road, Bridgewater.
Harvey Norman, home of the new Samsung Galaxy range with Galaxy AI. Amazing pre-order bonus offers on now. Pre-order the new Galaxy Z Flip 6 or the Galaxy Z Fold 6 and receive a bonus 1 year of Samsung Care Plus and a $200 gift card. Pre-order the Galaxy Watch Ultra and get a bonus $250 gift card. Or pre-order the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro and get a bonus $80 gift card. Hurry, offers end July 30. Harvey Norman, home of the new Samsung range with Galaxy AI. Conditions apply.
Do you click and collect at Coles like thousands of Aussies do? It's free. Choose a time that suits you and order by 2 p.m. for collection same day. Enjoy more free time with Coles. Minimum spend $50, excludes rapid click and collect. T's and C's apply.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
FIVEAA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
26 minutes after 7.
It's time to flashback with Michael Smith.
Good morning to you, Michael. We're talking the stock exchange this week on Flashback.
Indeed, Lucy and Will, a firm fiscal focus on Flashback, although it does also include fires and a footballer. Hope that's intrigued you. The Adelaide Stock Exchange really was the centre of commerce in this town for the best part of 100 years. The main building opened in 1901 and was really considered Adelaide's finest example of Federation architecture. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, the Adelaide Stock Exchange, where was that? Well, the building is still there. If you think of the Black Stump in Grenfell Street and the old Telstra building in Pirie Street, it's sandwiched in between the two of them on the corner of Exchange Place and McHenry Street, which is presumably named after 5AA's favourite fish show. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to check on that detail before Sunday.
Ned will claim it.
But I'm sure he would. It was an incredible centre of activity where fortunes were won and lost. As a member of the public, you could actually go in there because there was a mezzanine level that overlooked the trading floor, so you could see all of the stockbrokers scurrying about doing their deals. The trading room itself was covered in these elaborate chalkboards, and they would have young men run up and down correcting the prices of the shares as they went up and down. They were known as the chalkies, and you'll see on Sunday night a particularly famous chalky in young Stephen Kernahan. The Glenelg and Carlton great got his first job at the Adelaide Stock Exchange as a chalky. That's an interesting story in itself. It's a fascinating building. One of the main features is this incredibly valuable stained glass window, which was made by the William Morris Company. It's remarkable because it's so beautiful, but also because it survived not one but 2 fires at the exchange. The first, 1938, the second in 1982. Have a listen to this report from Alan Kalea.
When firemen arrived at 5:30 this morning, smoke was billowing out of all windows and doors of the 4-storey building. Firemen believed it started in the basement, and there are indications that it had been smouldering for some time before the interior of the building erupted into flames. At one stage, the outer walls were buckling with the intense heat and were threatening to collapse. Now it's completely gutted, and it's hard to believe that any share trading could ever take place here again.
But incredibly, it did. In fact, the stock exchange reopened just 8 months after that fire. It eventually closed in 1991 when share trading became computerised across the country. And it sat vacant for the best part of 20 years before the state government bought the building, and then it was repurposed as the Science Exchange, which is its main use today. A very curious history.
I mean, in one sense, it's funny to think as recently as 1991, they were things as sensitive as, you know, commodities were being traded with bits of paper. They'd send the tape up through the tube, and that's how things got people bought into companies and so forth. It's not that long ago, but it feels like a lifetime ago. Looking forward to that flashback on Sunday night. Michael, great to chat.
Thanks, guys.
Sunday night, 6 p.m. on Channel 7 News. Coming up after 7:30, it is Matt Abraham.
City Discount Tires.
Get saving now with City Discount Tires. We're offering great deals on the world's top brands in tires, wheels, suspension and parts. Suitable for 4-wheel drives, SUVs and passenger cars, including Falcon, Michelin, Pirelli, Kumho, Hankook and many more. Finance options available. Search citydiscounttires.com.au and locate your nearest dealer today. City Discount Tires. We're driven by value.
For those whose pool is the main feature of their yard, Walco offer a special mesh cover to keep debris and leaves out while making your pool area look stunning all through winter. Join the great cover-up and ask Walco about their stylish new mesh pool covers. Walco.com.au.
Cheese, crepes, champagne, merci.
Bastille Day is back at the Central Market. Celebrate France's national holiday over 2 exciting days this Friday the 12th and Saturday the 13th of July. We're going to be there on the Friday morning, Liz.
Which is tomorrow, in fact. We'll be
Yes.
down there tomorrow.
I knew that.
Yeah, just checking you back from holidays. There is plenty lined up over the weekend, starting with us there tomorrow morning, but you can also grab tickets for the French walking tour or enjoy kids' activities, live music and free cooking demonstrations.
Not to mention the Champagne Bar, crepes and more set to transport your taste buds to France, but right here at the market.
Stock up also on all your favourite French goodies this Friday and Saturday at the Central Market. Think baguette, croissant, small goods and, of course, the cheese. Join the celebrations, get a taste of France, see the full program and book at AdelaideCentralMarket.com.
This is 5AA News. Always Adelaide.
Rain and 15 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Chipped windscreen. RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
A 27-year-old man died in a fiery crash at Wingfield last night. Senior Constable Scott James says his car collided with the bridge over the Port River Expressway.
Major Crash attended the scene to investigate the circumstances surrounding the crash. This man's death is the 47th life lost on SA roads this year.
A man has been arrested after trying to run from a crash at Paralowie this morning. The Gold Holden was spotted doing burnouts on Kings Road before sliding and crashing into a roundabout and Stobie pole near Whites Road. The driver fled the scene, but police dog Axe tracked him down. The 31-year-old man from Paralowie, who doesn't hold a current driver's licence, is facing a range of charges. He'll front court today. World leaders are gathered in Washington, D.C. for the second day of the NATO summit. Australia has reinforced its pledge for greater support for Ukraine, along with New Zealand and Japan. Australia's Centre for Strategic and International Studies Chair, Charles Edel, says the war in Ukraine is top of the agenda.
The fact that Australia, along with New Zealand and Japan, has made new announcements will be welcomed at this point, especially with President Zelensky coming to town for meetings tomorrow.
A backflip from George Clooney when it comes to the US presidential race. The longtime Democrat who was fundraising for Joe Biden just last month now says he needs to vacate the ticket. He's penned an opinion piece in the New York Times claiming the party can't win with the 81-year-old at the helm. Katy Perry is in the box seat to headline this year's AFL Grand Final entertainment. It's perfect timing given the American singer's new album will be released a week before. Perry hasn't toured Australia since 2018 but did appear at the Women's T20 World Cup final in 2020. Recent headliners at the Grand Final include Kiss and Robbie Williams. Chinese customs have stopped a man trying to smuggle in more than 100 snakes stuffed down his pants. The BBC's Nikki Bristow has the story.
Border officers stopped the man at a crossing between Hong Kong and mainland China, even though he'd been through the channel for those with nothing to declare. When they inspected his pockets, they found 104 live snakes in 6 drawstring bags that had been sealed shut with tape. The reptiles were mostly small, but a video released by Chinese customs shows that together they made a sizable haul for anyone to carry in their trousers. Last year at the same crossing point, a woman was stopped trying to smuggle in 5 snakes that she'd hidden in her bra.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide will blood its 4th debutant for the year when defender Hugh Bond takes to the field against St Kilda on Saturday night. The side will be released this evening while the Power will name a squad ahead of Sunday's huge game against the Gold Coast Suns. Sydney, meantime, will head to the AFL Appeals Board tonight to keep Isaac Heaney's Brownlow medal hopes alive. Eddie Summerfield reports.
Sydney argued Isaac Heaney had swatted Jimmy Webster away, only for the tribunal to find it was a forceful blow to the Saints' face, so a one-game ban will stand. The Swans taking it to the appeals board tonight. If unsuccessful, the 28-year-old will be ineligible for the Brownlow. Essendon coach Brad Scott believes there should be changes.
Do we feel that Isaac Heaney should be ruled out from Brownlow eligibility for that?
Demons coach Simon Goodwin, citing changes to high contact rules, puts Brownlow changes on the agenda.
This is potentially one of those flow-on effects where it's a little bit easier to get reported these days.
Let's go to tennis, and Aussie Alex de Minaur's Wimbledon dream has been left shattered after he was forced to withdraw from his quarter-final clash against Novak Djokovic, and that was because of a hip injury he suffered late in his fourth-round match. It didn't stop a great atmosphere, with Queen Camilla in the stands enjoying it as she engaged in the Mexican wave. Italian Lorenzo Musetti beating American Taylor Fritz in an epic clash that sees him into the semi-finals, where he'll now meet Djokovic. To soccer, England fans have enjoyed a stunning 2-1 semi-final win against the Netherlands at the Euros this morning in Dortmund. With Adele and Ed Sheeran in the crowd supporting, England found themselves a goal down, but they equalised through captain Harry Kane before finding a dramatic winner in the 90th minute thanks to Ollie Watkins. King Charles then sent a message of support after the game, wishing the side luck ahead of Monday morning's final against Spain, while Prince William also sent a message of congratulations on Twitter. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate, experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Good morning there. Roads are wet due to passing showers, so take it easy on the way to work today. And look out for lights on the blink at Noarlunga today, Main South Road to Victor Harbour Road. Got a bridge wall getting fixed at Coromandel Valley after an earlier smash. Main Road near Ackland Road, and we're slow South Road at Glandorf for road plates there. Speeds at 40. Got a camera 2 at Tusmore Avenue at Tusmore. New to IGA's baby range, Baby Boo Nappy Pants. 21 to 23 pack varieties, $9.50. IGA, where the little locals matter. Prices are RRP at participating stores only. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
Heading for a top of 15 today and rain. Showers increasing tomorrow too, 16. Then a shower or two Saturday, 15. 15 again on Sunday. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a contagious virus causing respiratory illness in older adults and even death among the frail elderly. Vaccines to fight the disease are approved overseas, but now Fusion Clinical Research is holding a trial to find a remedy for Australia. If you're over 60 and want to take part, go to fusiontrials.com.au or call 7077 6996. That's 7077 6996. You'll be reimbursed for your time.
Drums, please. Unprecedented, unparalleled, unrivaled. For the very first time, Edwardstown Mazda is offering discounts greater than 10% on all Mazda demonstrator models. Every demo, every model with a minimum discount of 10%. Plus a minimum trade-in of $2,000 on your old vehicle. This offer is exclusive to Edwardstown Mazda.
It's gotta be
Edwardstown Mazda, the #1 destination for Mazda in SA.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
Coming up on the rest of the program, we have Josh Rochelle joining us from the Adelaide Crows, and we do have tickets to the Bunker, thanks to Channel 7 helping us out there to see the Crows take on St Kilda this Saturday. So please stay listening to see how you can win tickets in the Crows Bunker with Josh Rochelle. But first, it is a Thursday and plenty to dissect this week with Matt Abraham.
9 to 10 out of 10 every time.
Matthew Abraham on 5AA Breakfast.
Morning to you, Matt.
Morning, Lucy. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, Matt. Good to have you in. You've had an encounter with a mass population of spider crabs suddenly invading your space?
Well, I went out fishing on Tuesday, and of course, in Adelaide, if you're a fisher, it's either a Dodge Tide or the bloodworm run, the biannual bloodworm run, where the whiting gorge themselves on it. Not interested in anything. That's what the charter guy told me as we were washing our boats down together. But there's this mass thing on Eyre Peninsula.
Yeah, Coffin Bay.
Of thousands and thousands of these sort of bizarre crabs.
Fascinating. They're there to shed their shells, and they sort of clump together for safety as they regrow their shells. Is that right?
I don't know. That sounds good.
That was very convincing.
I'm impressed.
I saw it on Will's Bulletin last night. So
Oh, yeah, I was watching that too.
we're gonna chat more about it at 8:30. Fear not. So we'll find out in an hour.
I know they say it's a sign of a healthy environment, but for me, it's a sign of the impending apocalypse. You know,
They look.
Those
dangly
films always
creatures.
start with a mass migration of something. Birds or rhinos or something.
Spider crabs.
So what if the bloodworms meet the spider crabs out in the middle of the Gulf?
You don't want to be there.
You don't want to be there.
Yeah, let's not consider that. I tell you what, a few of our listeners felt the same way about considering the proposition of having to prepay for your petrol. We had the police commissioner on following his idea over the last weekend, a way to curb the scourge of petrol drive-offs and free up some police resources was to force people to prepay at the pump. He said the retailer should be looking into this. Have a listen to a bit of what he's told Lucy and I earlier in the week.
We assess these reports, so we have people assessing those reports, 16,000 a year. About 8,000 are allocated for investigation, and only about 7% of those 8,000 result in someone facing court for fuel theft, and not all of those are successful prosecutions.
That's a lot of petrol walking out of the
door.
The surveys. And I know he doesn't mean this. I really do, the police commissioner, because he's a good police commissioner. But the message he seemed, to be sending is, well, we've got lots of other things we've got to worry about, and really the retailers have got to worry about this. It's their problem. We don't want it to be our problem. We want to be looking after women and children. Well, everyone's affected by theft, mass theft on that scale, because it flows through the prices and a whole lot of other stuff. The big problem with prepay, there's several. If you're like me, you like to fill when petrol's cheap, you fill your tank up, and then you want to go on the trigger until you get it to a zero. So it has to be like $30.20. Can't be $30.18. So it can take quite a while. Get that. That's a very minor problem.
No, I totally agree. Except I'm 30, like 30,000.
Oh, you like the full?
That's
right.
Got to be bang on.
And then the petrol spilling out all over you.
I don't have OCD, I swear.
But we do like to fill up. Now, that technically you can do that. Prepaid doesn't mean you have to put in, say, I'll only take $20. Surely you've got a system where you swipe your card, you use the petrol, and then when you hang the pump back up again, it tells you, it charges it to your card. Like that. That's simple. But the other problem is that most petrol stations now, most servos, are supermarkets. And they're fast food shops. So they want you in there to buy, a hamburger, a chicken, a Subway, whatever.
Milk, bread.
Oh, sausage rolls are 2 for $6 with your petrol. Well, I might get a few sausage rolls. I wasn't hungry till I saw those. Donuts, so on and so on. That's really where they make their money. They don't make their money on petrol sales, or the business model now. Pioneered really in South Australia by the Shaheen family. And now you've got, Mobile X, all those sort of stations doing it. And they're all little mini supermarkets. And they can trade 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's brilliant. So they don't want you to pay at the pump. They want you to go in the store. Okay. That's their whole business model.
Yes, and as we alluded to earlier in the week, if you want to buy some chocolate bars, it's not just $1 for one Kit Kat.
No.
It's $7 for two.
Well, I think this is the belling of the cat in this whole thing, because the people who are most acutely aware of petrol drive-offs and their impact are the retailers. And if they haven't seen there's a commercial benefit to them installing a system of prepaid technology because of what you've outlined, then it ain't going to happen.
No.
They've clearly considered it's a business cost. It's worth 16,000 drive-offs for how many multipliers of that we get of people buying chocolate bars and so forth. So,
but the message the police commissioner seems to be sending to me, and once again, I think inadvertently, is that the comparison he used was, what a crazy business model. Why would you ever have a vending machine where you get your chocolate bar or Kit Kats or whatever, and then pay afterwards? Would you ever have that? He's incredulous about that. He said it'd be crazy. But that's exactly the business model we have at every supermarket, at every hardware store, at almost every retailer. You get your goods first, and then you pay. And there's a massive problem. Put aside petrol drive-offs. There's a massive problem with people just walking out of supermarkets, walking out of hardware stores or whatever, with trolleys full of stuff. And we're not talking about a packet of sausages here. We're talking about cuts of meat and what have you, expensive cuts of meat. And they know that nothing's going to happen to them. I was in Big W at Cumberland Park a few weeks ago, and they, buying a dongle for Lucy, for Chromecast or whatever for our telly, our ancient television to upgrade.
Internet dongle, yes.
Yes, thank you. And they were behind, behind lock and key, and I said, "Oh, why? They're $50. The people just knock them off." And the woman serving us said, last week, somebody came in, 2 big-sized televisions in the boxes, put them in the trolley, and just walked out of the shop.
Wow.
They're not allowed to touch you in the shop.
Their advice, right, is just to let it happen.
They just let it happen. And that's for safety reasons. By the time the police get there, they're gone. You're not allowed to touch them when they're outside the shop. And that is a massive problem for retailers. And that flows through to the cost of living, that flows through to prices. It's the same at supermarkets. In the queue at the supermarket, there'll be people in front of you with a trolley full, and then they'll just walk out without paying. And people just stand there like staring, like, well, what sort of mug am I? I'm paying. They just walk out. Now, that's a massive problem. There's very little the police can or will do about it. And if you're sending a signal that, look, we can't really be bothered with petrol drive-offs, well, it does send a signal that if they're not bothered with petrol drive-offs, are they really going to be bothered turning up if somebody walks out with a leg of lamb from Woolies?
Well, and
what's the point of calling the cops?
We appreciate the problems that the police and most sectors are facing at the moment with labour force issues, so they have to be
choosy.
We've got plenty of cops, haven't we? I don't think the police force has ever been bigger.
It's not as big as their target.
Okay, it's not as big as their target. I agree. They'd like more.
So they think it should be bigger. So let's grant them that for a second.
Okay.
Maybe it's misty-eyed of me or a fundamental misunderstanding of the justice system and how it all should work. But I would have thought getting people whilst they're engaging in the sort of low-level petty crime might be a nice entry point into what might end up being a long-term relationship with the police force.
Yes.
I suspect that not all, but maybe a fair percentage of people involved in petrol drive-offs are walking out with a trolley full of goods. It's probably not the only criminal thing they're doing. No. Not all of them, but I reckon a fair whack of them are probably doing other stuff wrong as well. Feels like a nice low-level moment to introduce them to a little bit of justice, doesn't it? Get their details and fingerprints and so forth.
Welcome to the SA Police Force.
Correct.
We'd like to get to know you better.
We look forward to working with you.
We value your custom.
But it doesn't seem to be...
No, well...
It's sort of... Oh, well...
And I think there's an expectation in the community, and it's being sadly dented now, that this sort of stuff doesn't go unpunished.
Correct.
And it does go unpunished. In Darwin, and they have lots of other problems, but security guards in the big shopping centres, they just grab people by the collar of the neck. They'll surround them. Within a second, there'll be about 3 or 4 security guards around somebody who's stealing stuff or creating problems, and then they just physically turf them out of the shop. Now, we don't do that. Maybe it's a good thing we don't do that here, but that's how they deal with, what we call petty crime. And I think at a time when, we do have a cost of living problem here. People are cutting back what I regard as people with secure jobs, and you'd think they've got enough money to that because of the interest rates on their mortgages and so on, and a lot of other things. Pay rises not keeping pace with inflation for about 10 years. It really challenges people, I think. Their idea of, they say, well, this is not right. I'm here, I'm paying, I'm buying food for my kids. I might be getting cheaper stuff now. I might be getting generic brands, which I don't like as much. I mean, if you've ever had the Aldi version of Tiny Teddies, you'll know what I'm talking about. And there's this person walking out or filling up the tank with petrol, driving off, and the message is, don't come to us. You're the retailer, you fix it. We've got other things to worry about. Really like to know what they are.
Yeah. Feels like cool
I'm sure
business.
The Police Commissioner will let us know.
Matt, stick around. We'll get to ICAC and your spin of the week after the break, but let's get on to the traffic this morning. If you're on your way in, please drive carefully. It is slippery out there. Enjoy improved wellbeing and fitness in a welcoming, fun environment at Brain Body Fitness Studio, Unley and Woodville.
Thanks, Lucy. Roads are pretty wet with those splashing showers. You're taking nice and easy. And look out for water over the road due to heavy rain at O'Halloran Hill at the intersection of South Road and Majors Road. Old Noongar lights on the blink there. Main South Road near Victor Harbour Road. Slow going South Road at Glandore. That's due to road plates in use there with cameras this morning. Green Hill Road, Burnside and Marion Road at Glen. Can you keep a secret? The IKEA sale is now on, up to 80% off hundreds of products until July 22. Head to ikea.com.au before everyone finds out. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Ignition for Men, Adelaide's home of luxury menswear, offer an impeccable range of suits by leading Italian brands, including the unparalleled quality and style of Armani, Canali, Zegna and more. Ignition for Men. What you wear speaks volumes about who you are and where you're going in the world. Make your mark with Ignition for Men. 54 Paynham Road, Stepney. Ignition for Men. ignitionformen.com.au.
With help from Flurio Milk Company, cafes all over Adelaide have joined the fight to reduce plastic waste. Instead of single-use plastic bottles, they've introduced reusable 18-litre kegs. Over recent months, a phenomenal amount of single-use plastic bottles have been eliminated, and every day the tally grows. Flurio Milk Company, together with cafes, supermarkets, schools, restaurants, hotels and workplaces, expect to save our planet from millions of single-use plastic bottles. Visit fluriomilkco.com.au for more.
5 years. That's around 1,300 cycles in the dishwasher, 1,825 cups of coffee, and 3,650 pieces of toast. 5 years is also the length of the warranty on selected Smeg appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery. Get in quick though, because this offer is only available from the 1st of July till the 31st of July. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, head to promotions.smeg.com.au. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
Are you eagerly awaiting a relocation sale to stock up on four-wheel drive and camping gear? Great news! TJM Clovelly Park have just opened their doors at their new address, 115 Sheriffs Road, Ranilla. They're still clearing out heaps of ex-display stock and everything must go. Get in quick and give the crew at TJM Nailsworth a call to find out what's up for grabs at both locations during their relocation sale on now.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
Matt Abraham is in the studio. We'll get to your spin of the week in a moment, Matt, but you want to chat ICAC?
Well, it's funny. We spent the first segment talking about people getting away with things that they shouldn't, and we haven't yet even talked about ICAC, which seems to be Anne Vanstone's critique of the changes that were made to it.
I think that's her problem.
Exactly.
I think she's seen ICAC reduced to the level of petrol drive-off offences. No, Commissioner Anne Vanstone, who everyone regards very highly. She's very well-respected legal person and tried to do a good job at ICAC, but she did flag when these changes were introduced by Frank Pangello and raced through Parliament and were universally adopted by MPs. That effectively gutted ICAC, peeled off the maladministration sort of arm of it to another body, integrity body, and left them with limited powers to do anything. And she flagged then that unless this changed, she'd leave, because basically, I think there's a limit to how many HB pencils you can sharpen and line up on your desk. We've got all the blue paper clips lined up, and the red. They're nice. That's quite good. So she's quit, and she's calling for a review of this. And we saw a few MPs, Robert Sims from the Greens, who I don't think was in Parliament when they were initially passed, Connie Benares, who was and now regrets it. Mm-hmm. They'd be the only ones. Nobody is, certainly no MP is shedding a tear for ICAC. I very much doubt whether the government has any appetite at all to launch an independent review of the changes to ICAC. Zero. And one of the problems, I found it almost, I think I can say this, laughable, that Anne Vanstone, in her sledge as she left, and it was quite a blistering, she didn't leave any doubt about why she was leaving, one of the things she said was, well, it's hampered our opinion, our ability to sort of be open to the public, to communicate with the public. And I thought, wait a minute, our ICAC, South Australia's ICAC, from the very start, is the most secretive ICAC in the nation. You've had endless opportunities, for instance, to have public hearings, and haven't done so. This is not Vanstone, more a predecessor in the job. And now you're saying we want to be able to open, ICAC should be open to the public. Well, let's have ICAC open to the public. Let's find out who's being charged, who's being investigated, and if you want that, if that's where you want to go, and have public hearings of ICAC. And I think one of the problems is they've bungled investigations. They've got, according to the government, and I think key figures in the opposition, and certainly Frank Pangello, they've got a lot of questions to answer about how they go about investigations. Anybody who's been in any way connected with an ICAC investigation will tell you it's horrible and incredibly stressful, even if you're not the subject of the investigation, even if you're a witness. The way it's conducted is like more than Max Smart's cone of silence, let's put it like that. It's just very deep, dark investigations. And they bungle them. They bungled the John Hanlon investigation. Hundreds of thousands of taxpayers' dollars, compensation paid for an investigation that, when it was reviewed, found that ICAC itself had committed maladministration in the way it went about it.
That's the public perception came to be that the secrecy was less about protecting the innocent or the yet to be proven guilty, and more about protecting a sometimes dodgy means of investigation.
Yeah.
That's the perception. That's what it came to appear that was going on.
Exactly. And the result is their strike rate has been very poor. A number of the cases have... And where's the Mr. Big? I think they've admitted there's no institutional corruption. ICAC itself says there's no institutional corruption in South Australia. It makes you wonder why we need one now that we have a federal ICAC, which was always former Labor Premier Mike Rand's case. He resisted having a state-based ICAC, said it would be a lawyer's picnic, proved correct, and wanted a federal one, which was one way of basically duck-shoving the issue.
All right, shall we get to some spins?
Yes.
It's related to this, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
9 out of 10 every time.
Now, there's two ways a government can comment on this. Both of them spin. This is the acting Premier at the moment, Susan Close, responding to calls for an independent review of ICAC.
She has been heard, we're aware of her concerns, and they will be considered alongside any views that a new Commissioner may have, as this system has time to be tested through its use.
Hello? Hello?
Yeah, okay.
That's Susan Close in her trademark style of putting an issue to sleep along with the viewers. And this is how veteran minister who had a near-death experience with ICAC himself, how his view of a review into ICAC. Tom Kutsentonis.
These reforms that have been introduced by the previous government are less than 2.5 years old. I'm not quite sure they've been bedded down just yet.
No, I think we need a little bit more bedding. Yeah, maybe about 20 years to bed them in.
Are you? What did it take? 19 minutes to pass these amendments overnight one night? Are you surprised they're all on a unity ticket when it comes to just giving it a little bit more time?
No, I think we need to bed them down. So Susan Close gets 9 out of 10 spin rating, and Tom Kutsentonis a big 1.
9 out of 10 every time.
Good on you, Matt. You go pay for your fuel.
Pleased to have you in this morning, Matt. Coming up after the 8 o'clock news, it is time for our sound off. If there's something you'd like to have a whinge about for 30 seconds, you can absolutely go for it, thanks to the Care Alert Smart Dialer and Josh Rochelle from the Adelaide Crows.
Ageism takes away my rights, the right to make my own decisions, be safe, and be treated with dignity and respect. Sometimes people assume I can't do something because of my age. They exclude me and I feel invisible and sad. Ageism can lead to mistreatment, neglect, and other forms of abuse. How do you treat the older people in your life? For more information, search SA Health Tackling Ageism, a message from the Government of South Australia.
I'm high!
The Excelsior Hotel has always felt like home, with meals from just $12, like soup from $12 with garlic bread, half beef or chicken schnitzels $16, sweet and sour pork with rice $16, bangers and mash $18, 1 or 2 piece fish and chips from $16, and 250 gram porterhouse $22. Gotta love the Excelsior Hotel lunchtime menu. Feels like coming home, but better. You just know it's a bro hotel.
Meet labourer Dylan Lawless from the CFMEU.
I've been in construction. I started in 2016 when I was 16 years old. I've seen a big change in the conditions even in the last 6-7 years. A lot more people are starting to join the union, and I feel like a lot more people are getting involved in the union. I've seen a lot more safety standards. I've seen a lot more people just standing up for themselves and for their conditions that they want to work in.
Championing the next generation in construction. The CFMEU, a union of opportunity.
Electricity bill!
Bills shouldn't be scary. EcoVantage have supplied energy efficiency in homes for over 15 years. They can install hot water systems that use up to 80% less electricity than regular hot water systems. Help the environment while you save hundreds. And thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you could get your energy efficient hot water system supplied and installed for as little as no cost to you. Stop scary hot water bills with ecovantage.com.au.
For 40 years, Steinborner has been well worth the trip for a new, used or demo vehicle. Back in the day, Michael Steinborner opened Steinborner Holden with just 6 staff on a single site in Gawler. Now they have operations in Gawler, Clare and the Barossa Valley, employing and training around 100 staff, and continue to invest in local community groups with a focus on junior sports. Steinborner Automotive, celebrating 40 years of being well worth the trip for thousands of South Australians.
The latest local, national and international news for South Australia. This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Rain and 15 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Chipped windscreen. RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
A fatal crash at Wingfield is under investigation. Police were called to Hanson Road around 8:30 last night. A 27-year-old man was killed in a single-car collision on the bridge over the Port River Expressway. His Nissan sedan bursting into flames on impact. The state road toll for the year now stands at 47. Police dog Axe helped catch a driver who fled the scene of a crash at Paralawi this morning. A gold Holden was spotted doing burnouts on Kings Road before hitting a Stobie pole near Whites Road. Senior Constable Scott James says the driver was found hiding in a riverbank nearby.
Subsequent search of the vehicle located numerous keys to other vehicles and registration plates that didn't match. Checks also revealed the driver didn't hold a current driver's licence. So he was a 31-year-old from Paralawi. He sustained minor injuries from the crash, but he was also charged with misuse motor vehicle, driving without due care, unlicensed, unlawful possession and breaching his curfew, and he will attend the Elizabeth Magistrates Court today.
Shipping delays are pushing up prices as people pay more for everything from chocolate to sofas. Attacks by Houthi rebels in the Red Sea has forced vessels to reroute. It's added weeks to their journey and contributed to the worst congestion at key ports since COVID. Hollywood heavyweight George Clooney says it's time for Joe Biden to pull out of the presidential race. US correspondent Jonathan Kersley has more.
Last month, George Clooney hosted a fundraiser for America's Commander-in-Chief, helping to raise Joe Biden's campaign $28 million for his re-election bid. Now in the New York Times, the Hollywood superstar has said the Democrats cannot win November's presidential election with the 81-year-old as the nominee, saying the Joe Biden he saw at the debate was the same Joe Biden he saw at the fundraiser. The criticism comes at a high-pressure time for the president, who is fighting for his political future and hosting world leaders at the NATO summit in Washington, D.C.
There's a push for men to get more recognition on International Men's Day. One Nation MP Sarah Game says many don't even know the day exists. Last year she organised an event in Adelaide featuring well-known male speakers and intends to do the same this year.
So this year we're still in the works with venue. It's going to be declared really soon, but it will be on Tuesday the 19th of November in the evening. And I just want to specifically say as well, this is not just for men. We want men and women to come.
Katy Perry is set to follow in the footsteps of Kiss and Robbie Williams and headline the entertainment on the final Sunday in September at the MCG. Reports out of Melbourne say she's in advanced talks to perform at the 2024 AFL Grand Final. Perry, who hasn't toured Australia since 2018, is just about to release a new single with an album to follow a week before the big footy game. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. It is selection night for both the Crows and Port Adelaide ahead of their round 18 matches this weekend. Hugh Bond will make his debut for Adelaide against St Kilda, while the Power will name an extended squad for their match against Gold Coast, with Asava Ratuglia and Willie Rioli big chances to come in. Meantime, departing coach Adam Simpson has declined an offer to take charge one final time this weekend when the Eagles host Brisbane in Perth, but he will take part in some capacity pre-game to farewell the fans. Well, heartbreak at Wimbledon overnight with Aussie Alex de Minaur forced to withdraw because of a hip injury. It means Novak Djokovic advances to the quarterfinals, where he'll now meet Lorenzo Musetti, with the Italian upsetting American Taylor Fritz in 5 sets. And on the women's sides, there were wins for Elena Rybakina and Barbora Krejcikova. England is into the final of the Euros following a thrilling 2-1 win against the Netherlands. Scores were locked at 1-1 until the 90th minute when Aston Villa striker Ollie Watkins popped up with a fabulous finish.
Watkins! Bang on 90 minutes! England amid delirious drama!
Amazing stuff. Audio there thanks to Optus. England will now tackle Spain in the final, which will be played Monday morning our time. To golf, the Scottish Open will tee off this afternoon our time with 4 Aussies, including Min Woo Lee, playing. It's the traditional warm-up event ahead of next week's British Open. And the final test for England great Jimmy Anderson is off to a brilliant start at Lords, with the home side skittling the West Indies for only 121. Anderson took just the 1 wicket, while Gus Atkinson took a stunning 7 for 45. England then reaching 3 for 189 in reply at stumps on the opening day. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate. Experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Morning there. Roads are wet due to passing showers. Take it easy on the way to work and look out for flooding on certain areas of South Road at O'Halloran Hill, just near Majors Road, due to that weather today. Old Nollunga, traffic lights on the blink there. Main South Road to Victor Harbour Road, and we're slow South Road at Glandon or the Cross Road overpass for work. So road plates in use there. Speeds at 40. Got a camera 2 Arthur Street at Tranmere. Harris Scarf's big stock take sale is on now. Save 40 to 60% off electric blankets and heated throws. Conditions apply. Harris Scarf, great brands, great prices. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automaster's technician.
A wet day on the way, 15 and rain. Showers increasing tomorrow, 16. Saturday, a shower or two, 15. 15 on Sunday. Right now, it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
In Adelaide and across South Australia, this is 5AA, always Adelaide.
Come on to Rise and Win.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast, Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
8:07, good morning to you this Thursday. Currently 12 degrees outside, feels like 7.8. We're expecting somewhere between 9 and 20 mils of rain today, so please be careful if you are out there on the roads. Coming up this hour, Josh Rochelle, and we're heading over to the Eyre Peninsula to talk about the spider crab phenomenon over at Coffin Bay. Also coming up, we have your chance to win tickets to the Adelaide Crows bunker, all thanks to Channel 7. Crows take on St Kilda. Now this bunker you want to be in, it's worth $380. We have a double pass. You and your best mate, you might be fighting to get them there. It's the Gage Road Brewing Co bunker this Saturday night from 7 o'clock. It's reserved seating in the level 1 of the Riverbank stand. Pre-game dinner box, half-time Balfour's footy pies and pasties, mini desserts, 4-hour beverage package, and you get to see the team warm up and the halftime address in the rooms. It's a really rare experience. Your chance to win after 8:30 this morning.
It's a great way to watch the
bunker.
footy. It's impossible to have a bad night in the bunker. That will be a good night.
We'll chat about that more after 8:30 today. Coming up shortly as well, we're joined by Hayden Nelson from 7 News about the latest fatal on our road. It's the 47th death on our roads this year, and we'll check your petrol situation as well. Right now, though, 8223 if you have something you'd like to sound off about, for the Care Alert Smart Dialer, the airwaves are yours for 30 seconds. If you want to rant about something for a Care Alert Smart Dialer, use your home care package through My Aged Care or NDIS for a Care Alert free Smart Dialer. Visit carealert.com.au. We'd love to hear from you.
Nothing like the Thursday morning catharsis of the Smart Dialer Sound Off. Give us a buzz and have your say on something that may well only matter to you. It doesn't worry us. We love to hear from people with very personalised and individualised rants about whatever it is that's going on out there. It might well be about the fact that it is as glum out there at the moment. We've just heard in 5AA News with Rennie's Sport, a lot of happy English people waking up, probably didn't go to bed this morning with England through to the final of the Euros. It feels as though Adelaide is helping our English brethren celebrate by having a very London-looking day out there. I know it's a little depressing if you get to 8:10 and we look out our window here from level 4 on Highmarsh Square and everyone's street lights are on. It's that sort of morning. It is just grey. It was raining heavily earlier, but just has that sort of oppressive European winter's day feel to it.
Well, to make you feel better, it's midsummer in London at the moment. Tomorrow, when they all wake up, they're aiming for a top of 22 and showers in their summer.
Well, you know what? They're not going to care. That sounds like a nice day. They're delighted. They're very happy as well. They should be with their football team this morning. Let's talk about some of the big stories this morning. Kick-started by a few listeners who texted in after 7 o'clock with our morning wrap, focusing on the shocking story that led news services last night, and indeed is the front page of the Advertiser this morning, regarding the state of children in state care. I'll read the texts first and then put you in the picture. Helen says, "Oh my God, this is absolutely ghastly. This incompetent minister should be sacked. Step up, Premier. Sack her today. Show some leadership." Nathan says, "I think the Premier has a tendency to go missing on issues such as this, child protection. Where is he on ramping? The government seems to have almost engineered the perception that this is the new status quo." Another says, "It took since May to answer the question. Either they're not monitoring this crucial issue of care for vulnerable young people, or they're hiding it." Now, the timeline to which that text alludes is about how we discovered this shocking data point. 50 people charged in relation to sexual offences against children in state care over the past year. 50 people in the space of 12 months. 2 of those incidents resulted in pregnancies. We wouldn't know about this if not for the fact that a question was asked at a Budget and Finance Committee meeting in May, to which the department, they had to take it on notice, so they didn't know it in the moment. They didn't know it in the moment, and now they've answered it in writing. 49 people have been charged with sexual offences against vulnerable children. One of them was a DCP staff member. 34 children, this is the impetus of the initial questioning, 34 children known to the department had died in 2022 and 2023, compared to 58 between 2019 and 2022. So when you hear our listeners saying things like ghastly and shocking and sack the minister, that's why. The minister under extra scrutiny, because she has been blessed with a dual role. Domestic, family and sexual violence prevention, one incredibly important portfolio. The other, recreation, sport and racing. Important in its own way. But the minister, in her own words on 5 by Mornings yesterday, said her focus is singular on this. And it may be in her mind, but in the mind of the public and the 5AA listeners that have texted us, they've said it's not good enough to shuffle off from a meeting about children being abused to another one around horse racing. There is no more serious issue. There can be no division of time. And the Premier, who does a wonderful job at sniffing the public mood, needs to draw some breath on this, because, frankly, it is ridiculous. I just want to read that stat again, because I read it 5 times this morning thinking, that can't be right. 50 people charged, that's not all incidents, charged in 12 months. Katrine Hildyard was on the 5AA Mornings program yesterday. Have a listen.
Those who prey on and assault children are absolutely vile and deserve to be punished with the full force of the law. Our government is determined to deal with those vile predators and has set about making laws tougher on pedophiles. We've already passed legislation, and as the Premier has indicated, we will be introducing tougher laws for people who have sexually assaulted children and young people. We will be increasing penalties for those repeat offenders. So we are absolutely determined to deal with these awful pedophiles who sexually abuse, assault, rape children. It is absolutely sickening, and we are committed to driving legal change to deal with them as harshly as possible.
A raft of worthy measures to which I think there wouldn't be a single dissenting voice listening. My only question is why is every measure to deal with this problem about what happens after a child's abused? There's going to be more on this story. The opposition are pursuing it rigorously. I hope their focus isn't solely on the dual portfolios of the minister in charge. There is far, far bigger and more important issues at play, and we'll continue to cover them here on 5AA Breakfast as well. Another really sad story as we wake up this morning. News broke a short time ago that a crash at Wingfield had in fact turned out to be fatal. It's been covered now at the scene by Hayden Nelson for 7 News, who joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Hayden, good morning to you. Just step our listeners through who are waking up to this horrible news. What's happened?
Good morning. Well, yeah, absolutely tragic news here this morning from a crash that happened last night about 8:30 on the bridge over the Port River Expressway, where a Nissan sedan has hit the wall. It has burst into flames, and sadly the sole occupant, the driver, a 27-year-old from Salisbury, has passed away. From Salisbury North has passed away. Witnesses describe it as just hearing an explosion. That when it hit the wall, it immediately pretty much went up in flames, and firefighters were very quickly on scene, but sadly there was not much they could do to save that driver. They did put out the flames, allowing police to sort of get in and get a bit closer to the vehicle, and emergency services to do what they had to do around that time. Major crash investigators were called in and had a pretty good look through the scene here last night. They spent many hours on the bridge over the Port River Expressway.
All right, thank you, Hayden. It's a very sad story that we'll have more detail about on 7 News tonight. Hayden Nelson with that report from Wingfield. They say politics is like show business for ugly people, Luce. In America, the mixture between politics and show business is closer than anywhere else than on planet Earth. And it's only in America that you can get a headline like the one that Joe Hockey was called in to talk about on Sky News earlier this morning. George Clooney has called for Joe Biden to drop out of the presidential race. Now, you might say, well, who cares, George? Go appear in ER and own a pig. Well, he does more than that. He represents billionaire donors. He's an incredibly charismatic and influential Democrat, as I'm sure you hear Joe Hockey describe here.
It is the first time that someone very much in the mainstream has come out and said it's time. And he did it in the New York Times, just to make sure that everyone read it. It was a very considered piece. I can say to you, I was with very senior Democrats last night, and there is a high level of despair amongst them about where this is all heading. Joe Biden is in control of his destiny here. The Democrats can't get rid of him, and they will not try to get rid of him, but they are certainly going to put pressure on, and increasing pressure on, over the next few weeks.
Yeah, that seems to be the key factor here. The only person who's going to make the decision is Joe Biden. It's remarkable to think that it might be a Hollywood movie star who's the one that applies the greatest public pressure to him and forces him to pull out. But what it does, perhaps most damagingly now, is he's a big name that gets big headlines. We're talking about in Adelaide. You can imagine they're talking about it right across the United States. Another 24-hour news cycle of bad news for Joe Biden as he tries to right the ship. He's made it 7 days since the debate, which I don't think many people thought he would. Well, he's made it over the last 7 days, should I say. The last 7 days, people suspected he might be forced to pull out. So does he have another 7 days in him? Hard to see with a news cycle like the one we're seeing at the moment. Let's check traffic, Lucy. When we come back, Josh Rochelli's going to join us in the 5AA Breakfast Studio. He's going to explain to us why the Crows are going to beat the Saints this weekend.
Yes, enjoy improved wellbeing and fitness in a welcoming, fun environment at Brain Body Fitness Studio, Unley and Woodville.
Thanks, Lucy. Passing showers at damp roads on the drive-in and some localised flooding too to look out for at O'Halloran Hill. It's on Main South Road near Majors Road. Old Noongar traffic lights on the blink there. Main South Road near Victor Harbour Road. Busy at West Hindmarsh for works. North-South motorway near Manton Street with cameras Marion Road, Glynn and Tusmore Avenue at Tusmore. Wear your pyjamas this July for National Pyjama Day to support kids living in foster care. Visit nationalpyjamaday.com to register your school or workplace. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The 5AA Sports Show. Stephen Rowe and Tim Jennifer.
The big surprise for me was Isaac Heaney. Sydney's charge was upheld. Immediately the Swans sent that straight to the AFL Appeals Board. Now, well done to Sydney. This isn't about the Brownlow for Heaney. This is about the fabric of our game. So to Sydney, well done. And I hope they win.
The 5AA Sports Show.
Do you want to see him miss a game for that? I think he's going to.
Weekdays from 4 p.m. on 5AA. Always Adelaide.
Hi, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we, the Lynn Andrews team, have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easier for investors and tenants. Everyone is treated with empathy and respect. It's the way we do business. It's the Lynn Andrews way. For residential and commercial property management, we're here to help you. Visit lynnandrews.com.au.
NRG Solar knows that solar isn't just about panels. It's about future-proofing. Start your journey to self-sufficiency today. Be the visionary. Take charge. NRG Solar's new warehouse is fully stocked with a stunning range of wholesale solar and battery equipment. See it for yourself. Discover the power of solar at NRG Solar. Call 1300 858 160 or visit nrgsolar.com.au and make tomorrow brighter. That's nrgsolar.com.au.
I'll grab a few people I know. We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. Jump in the Jayco. Jump in the Jayco. Yeah, that's the best freedom I know.
5 years. That's around 1,300 cycles in the dishwasher, 1,825 cups of coffee, and 3,650 pieces of toast. 5 years is also the length of the warranty on selected Smeg appliances at Adelaide Appliance Gallery. Get in quick though, because this offer is only available from the 1st of July till the 31st of July. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, head to promotions.smeg.com.au. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, Paynham Road, St Peters.
If you need to fix your pipes, call Precise. Call Precise. If your toilet's blocking up, call Precise. Call Precise. If your lights aren't turning on, or your hot water is gone, or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Precise.
Precise Plumbing and Electrical. Call 1300 700 200. That's 1300 700 200. Precise Plumbing and Electrical. On time, on budget, on the job.
Or a plumber or an electrician, call Precise. Call Precise.
Rosanna Mangiarelli here from 7 News. Join me and Will Goodings for Adelaide's leading news hour, 7 News, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
8:21 this Thursday. Jump on the Foodland Supermarkets Facebook live stream. You'll get to see Josh Rochelle live in studio with us.
Rochelle goal! That was absolutely superb!
He's class personified.
Rochelle! And comes the boxing
Morning to you, Josh.
Good morning, Lucy. We're just talking off air. By any measure, the game against Brisbane last weekend took it to a side who, you know, they've got grand final credentials on their home ground, in good form, running them close, was a pretty good result. But you, like the fans, it sounds like you're sick of talking about pretty good results.
Yeah, we are. It's obviously another disappointing win away from home. But I thought, as you mentioned, we gave it a good effort. It's obviously not what we go out for, just to have a good effort. We want to go and win most games, but I thought we took it to them. We actually had a chance in the last quarter to kind of decrease that margin even more, but unfortunately fell short by 11 points in the end.
It was a weird sort of a game because it felt like in large periods, Brisbane are about to put their foot down and get away. It never really happened. That's sort of been a hallmark of the Crows-Nix period, hasn't it? You've been good at hanging in fights. It's just been about, just getting over the line at the end.
Yeah, that's spot on, and I think that first quarter, especially with Lachie Neale and Josh Dunkley, their first quarters was unbelievable, and to see what they had at halftime kind of got addressed and said we need to be better in the contest, all over the ground, not just in specific spots. But yeah, you've got to give credit to Brisbane. They're in some good form at the moment, and I don't think Lachie Neale really gets spoken about of how good of a player he actually is too.
It was extraordinary. Hit the scoreboard as well, kicking the 3 goals. So we've spoken a bit this week about Isaac Rankin, the 4-week suspension. He's had an incredible year this year. I think a lot of fans would look at the team sheet and say, well, it's as simple as Rankin out, Rochelle in terms of playing his role. Is it that simple?
Yes and no. I think Isaac brings that bit more, I guess, that bit more spark around the footy, and he's got a little bit more experience at the moment. From me, he's played a few more years, and he's played a lot more in the midfield this year. So
you don't think necessarily you'll take his role?
Not necessarily.
Still play closer to goal?
Yeah, I think I'll still play closer to goal. I think we've still got a lot of mids in the moment, so I'm not sure what we're going to do then. We've had Zach Taylor on the bench as playing that sub role, so he could potentially come in. But yeah, it's not really like for like, I don't think. But for me, I know where my position is and what I'm doing ahead of the ball. I think more that midfield role is more a long-term role for me.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting you don't say it's a like for like, because I think a lot of fans would go, you're both flashy players with skill that offer a bit up the ground and then offer a bit when you've got the goals, goal sense and ability to sneak goals that way. But you see some differences just innately between your two games.
Yeah, I do see a few differences. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll go in for some centre bounces and try and get a little bit more now that Isaac's not there. But I think for us now, with the last 7 weeks to go, we just really want to go out there and play with freedom and have no risks. And I think we'll have a few players just rolling through those spots, and I think everyone's going to get a crack in there.
I was going to ask you about that, the messaging now for the last 7 rounds. Has there been like a big picture conversation among the players, either driven by the players or the coach, about what you're trying to get out of it, what you might see and what to be prepared for?
It definitely started after the bye week. We sat down and we had some great conversations around what the last 9 games looked like, and it was great to see how that started straight after the bye week against GWS. We had a great win then, and even last week, I know it was a disappointing result, but we're still playing our brand of footy again. So for us, as I just mentioned before, it's just about having that freedom again and playing with that excitement and fun. Because for some of us, it feels like it's only a couple of weeks away and the season ends, but it's still seven games away. So we can still get a lot out of the next 7 rounds and set our season up for next year.
Hugh Bond debuts this weekend, 4th debutant of the year. You've always done a nice job of introducing us to these guys off the field before they play their first game. So, Hugh Bond, what kind of guy is he?
I tell you, he's one of the most annoyingest players to play on at training. So, whoever's got him this weekend, good luck, because he's a lockdown player who just wants to annoy you and grab you and muck around with you. But he's a great person, Hugh. I've known him for a couple of years. He moved in with my host family as soon as I moved out, so he's a great person. He's got a great family, and it's well deserved because he's done it hard for a couple of years and grinded away and knew the things he needed to improve on. But he deserves it more than anyone.
Lockdown is in sort of taking small forwards as a small defender, or sort of tagging through the midfield.
Yeah, small defender playing on the small forward. So. Sydney St Kilda have got some good forwards down there with Jack Higgins and a few of them. So he'll probably be on one of them, I'd say.
It'll be a big task.
Yeah, it will be.
How much of your time have you put in this week in having a look at how St Kilda's set up? Because they're coming into a bit of form at the moment as well, and they do play a peculiar, if not unique, style of footy where they leave a lot of space behind the footy. Often you see halfbacks racking up incredible numbers. You blokes that are back there must be licking their lips this week. But they like to low-scoring games, that Ross line style of footy. Have you spoken a bit about that?
Yeah, we have. We addressed our game review straight after in Brisbane, which was good to get that out of the way pretty quickly and move on. But yeah, we had a great day yesterday kind of analysing St Kilda and where they're at. And as you mentioned, their halfbacks are big disposals, and especially Nazar Wanganeen and Jack Sinclair. They get back there as much as they can, and they're pretty creative. So for us, it'll just be reducing their impact as much as possible, and our forward 50 pressure is going to be massive for us. I think we can get a lot of turnovers there and hopefully get on the end of a few goals. But our big thing will be, again, just pressing in from the midfield and the forward line, and our contest will be a big thing too.
Could you start a recruitment drive for Nazar Wanganeen Miller out on the ground? A few words, tell him how good it is back here. Mind you, the weather I think is going to be not making much of an advertisement.
No, it wouldn't. It'd be great to have him and Wayne Miller back there.
Correct.
One day,
Wouldn't it be
which
special?
would be unbelievable.
Last question, not on footy, but on your former vocation in soccer. We're trying to work out earlier. In fact, I'll put it to you this way. Are you the kind of soccer fan that is happy when England does well, or do you like to see England not do well? Of course, they've made it through to the final of Euro.
I'm pretty happy for them. I'm pretty stoked for them, especially after watching the David Beckham documentary and seeing how much they got smoked for that back in the day. So it'd be great to see them do well, especially with all the haters. And I think watching Jude Bellingham these days, he's one of the most absolute talents, and it'd be great to see him have a great game.
I feel better about that now, Luce. I thought I was going out on a limb saying I was happy to see England win this morning. But
You just needed to share the sentiment with
I know,
someone.
I need to hear from someone with some credibility that they feel the same way, so that's good. Well, all the best for the weekend. Look forward to seeing you guys take on the Saints Saturday night. And a couple of our listeners will be getting along, Luce, because we've got the bunker tickets, seeing the game in style. I hope you see Josh kick 4 and dominate the game. Thanks for coming in, mate. Great to chat.
Thanks, Lucy. Thanks, Will.
G'day folks, this is Darren Coggan, and I am thrilled to be joining the incredible Deborah Conway on stage in a beautiful new production that celebrates friendship and the timeless songs of two of the finest singer-songwriters of our time, Carole King and James Taylor. It's going to be a spectacular evening, folks. Tickets are on sale now. Don't miss out.
The music of Carole King and James Taylor. Adelaide Festival Theatre, 24th of July.
At Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, we've launched out of the starting blocks and we're flying down the track with our huge demo clearance. All demos are going to race out the door, like Demo T-Rocks from only $35,990 drive away. We're first for easy on-site finance options and top of the podium for convenient next-day servicing with complimentary loan vehicles. Get in first for Mawson Lakes Volkswagen's huge demo clearance. Salisbury Highway, just a short drive from the city. Rego S22 3CYX.
This is 5AA News, always Adelaide.
Rain and 15 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Chipped windscreen? RAA approved repairer Complete Windscreens repairs it from just $99. Find the big red koala.
There's been a fatal crash at Wingfield. It happened on Hanson Road around 8:30 last night. Senior Constable Scott James says there was a single-car collision on the bridge over the Port River Expressway.
Nissan sedan immediately caught fire upon impact. The driver and the sole occupant of the vehicle, a 27-year-old man from Salisbury North, sadly died at the scene.
It's the 47th life lost on our roads this year. Government advisors are warning that kids' data could be collected and sold from apps used at school. Gabrielle Hodson has more.
The Network for Quality Digital Education says that with few rules, schools and parents are not only wasting money on so-called educational apps, but children's data could be potentially collected and sold. A UNESCO report found 89% of EdTech resources recommended during the pandemic could or were collecting information about their young users. News Corp is reporting that educational technology decision makers are selecting apps with limited info about what's safe and what'll work best. The network wants a consistent national approach to selecting EdTech, with independent assessments on how effective an app or program is at teaching students and if what's being taught actually matches the curriculum.
Increased costs to consumers are on the horizon as international conflict in the Red Sea forces cargo ships to reroute their journey. The added 2 weeks of travel via South Africa's Cape has increased fuel costs and bottlenecked ships in Singapore. It's created the worst congestion since the COVID pandemic. The Alec Baldwin involuntary manslaughter trial has started in Santa Fe. The opening statement from prosecutor Elinda Johnson describing the injuries suffered by cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the set of Rust in 2021.
It perforated her right lung. It traveled through her spine, lacerating her spinal cord, and then it exited on the left side of her back. That bullet then went into Joel Souza's right shoulder, and it came to rest in his back.
The first witness has now taken the stand. A man's in custody after the wife and 2 daughters of a popular Sky and BBC sports presenter were killed in a crossbow attack at their North London home. John Hunt discovered his wife Carol and daughters Hannah and Louise tied up. They were pronounced dead at the scene. It sparked a massive manhunt for Louise's ex-boyfriend, who'd briefly served in the armed forces. 26-year-old Kyle Clifford was found injured in a cemetery near his home. He's been taken to hospital for treatment. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Colours, custom design, any house, any style. Gliderol Garage Doors. Gliderol.com.au.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Adelaide Livewire Josh Rochelle doesn't think he'll replace Isaac Rankin in the midfield this weekend. Rankin has been ruled out for the next 4 weeks through suspension, but Rochelle has told Lucy and Will it's unlikely he'll be a one-for-one swap.
Yeah, I think I'll still play closer to goal. I think we've still got a lot of mids in the moment, so I'm not sure what we're going to do then. We've had Zach Taylor on the bench as playing the sub role, so he could potentially come in. But yeah, it's not really like for like, I don't think.
Still on footy, Richmond great Matthew Richardson says he was staggered Isaac Heaney's ban for striking was upheld at the tribunal. Sydney will head to the AFL Appeals Board tonight to try to keep the Sydney Stars' Brownlow medal hopes alive and have the ban overturned. Richardson telling Wide World of Sports it wasn't an act that warrants Heaney losing the Brownlow.
I think that's within sort of play, a reasonable sort of footy sort of act trying to push off. I didn't see it as a strike. It's certainly not behind the play. It's not a big shirt front where you hip and shoulder someone up the middle and hit them in their face. It's certainly not a king hit behind the play. It's not a dirty hit.
To tennis, Aussie Alex de Minaur is out of Wimbledon after he was forced to withdraw from his quarter-final clash against Novak Djokovic. That was because of a hip injury. Djokovic will now play against Italian Lorenzo Musetti, who beat Taylor Fritz in 5 sets. England has won through to the final of soccer's European Championship. Jordan Tunbridge reports from a pub in London.
Soccer fans at the Dog and Fox Hotel celebrate England's 2-1 win over the Netherlands at the Euros. Beers were thrown in the air and there were hugs all round as the substitution Ollie Watkins scored a late match winner. The Three Lions now just 1 win away from taking out the European Championship for the first time. They face Spain in the final.
Should be a ripper. I reckon he's having a good time over there, Jordan. That is the 5AA Sport.
Yeah, we need a job like that. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Lynn Andrews Real Estate. Experts in commercial and residential property management. lynnandrews.com.au.
Morning there. Roads are wet due to passing showers, and look out for a car v Stobie pole this morning at Keswick, Richmond Road near Railway Terrace. O'Halloran Hill, water over the road due to those rains. South Road at Majors Road. Parallelway, urgent electrical works, Kings Road near Whites Road, and a twisted traffic light at Hillcrest this morning. North East Road near Pittman Road. Canberra 2, Stanley Street at Leabrook. Snooze members save up to 40% off the RRP at Snooze, including up to 40% off mattresses and up to 40% off bed frames. Hurry, the Snooze member event is on now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
See any issue firsthand with AutoCam. Real-time video, direct to you from your Automasters technician.
A top of just 15 today with rain, showers increasing tomorrow 16, Saturday a shower or two 15 and Sunday 15. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop Real Estate. 2 years ago, had anyone suggested that South Australia's property prices would be on par with Melbourne's, it might have been met with some scepticism. However, the unexpected has happened. Adelaide's property market is in full bloom, with the median house price surpassing the $900,000 mark for the first time in history. A true testament to the strength of our local property market. And no, these aren't just occasional spikes. It's solid, continued growth, reflecting a strong local property market with no signs of a slowdown. If you're contemplating selling in this profitable market, contact the experienced team at Toop and Toop. We have nearly 40 years of history backed with a strong track record of achieving exceptional sale prices. Visit toop.com.au to find out more.
So, what's for dinner?
Chanella's.
Yeah, when it comes to dinner, or for that matter, lunch, the chefs at Chanella's have done all the hard work for you with stunning pre-prepared meals, cooked daily using the freshest of local ingredients, and they're all ready to take home right now.
There's pasta dishes, winter warmer soups, lamb shanks with creamy mash, full roasts, a range of tasty curries, and so much more, all lovingly prepared by the chefs at Chanella's in Prospect.
So that's dinner sorted, lunch even too. Jump onto the Chanella's website or order in-store today. Chanella's, it's a way of life.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head to 5AA on Facebook or YouTube. Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
8:38 this dreary Thursday morning, a phenomenon that I'm really fascinated with and would love to hear from you this morning. If anyone has been to anywhere where spider crabs live, I don't know anything about them and we're about to find out, but please text us on the Duttons text line 0448 08 1395. If you've seen the spider crab phenomenon where they crowd together for protection, we'd love to hear from you. Send us a text. Save thousands at the big Nissan demonstrator sale on now at Duttons, Nissan Murray Bridge, easy to do business with. While we'd like to hear from you this morning, we are, of course, going to hear from the expert, thankfully, because I'm fascinated by all things marine. And Will, I know you are keen to hear more about these spider crabs. You showed the vision on 7 News last night. And we're happily joined by Lester Marshall from the Coffin Bay Oyster Farm, who's done the rounds with the media this morning. I think it's really captured a unique South Australian thing. Good morning to you, Lester.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. How are you?
Very well, thank you. The pictures are amazing, and it's how many hundreds of these giant spider crabs all banded together at your oyster farm. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's sort of something that we've seen on and off over the last 25, 30 years. But we've never seen them come into our oyster farm so far into the bay and in such numbers. So we were quite surprised. And when you see them, metre and a half of water. Just in your boat, you can only see, within sort of 10 metres of you. But when this chap who put up a drone from Missing Link, he went up. I told him, I said, there's some spider crabs out there, I think, and just was doing some other footage, and all of a sudden it sort of dawned on the scale and the amount that were there and the colours, and we went, it became.
We're having a little bit of trouble with Lester's phone there. We might try and give him a call back. Yeah, Peninsula's not that far away. We should have a decent phone line that we'll be able to get. The pictures that he describes, though, are absolutely phenomenal. And the extraordinary thing about this is the sort of not here and then all of a sudden you're inundated with these things the next minute. It's so much so. Some of the vision we had last night, people sort of put their hands in the water and you're suddenly inundated with these crabs. They're a big size as well. I think we've got Lester back now. Sorry, Lester, we just dropped out as you were describing that remarkable drone footage that we saw. You mentioned this over the course of 25 years. You've seen this a few times. What are we talking? Does this happen every 5 years, 2 years, 10 years? How often?
Well, that's the thing. We don't really know. It's hard to remember because when you're not here, you don't really think about them, and all of a sudden you see them come into the bay, and they must just march in their thousands because we've got oyster farms 17 kilometres out spread around the bay system here, and we don't see them on the outside areas at all. So they must all come in through the deep channels and then just get into the inside of the bay and then spread out and then and form these big mass clumps or aggregations for protection to molt is what they seem to think.
Do they pose any challenges for oyster farming? Do they cause any issues for you?
No. Well, I tell you, if you wouldn't want to walk through them, I suppose they're not dangerous to you, but they're just when those big clumps of 2, 3, 400, they certainly and you don't want to drive over them in your boat or anything like that. So, but they just mill around, but no, they're no problem.
Lester, we don't eat spider crabs, do we, in South Oz? You can eat them, I guess, but we don't typically. I haven't never seen one on a menu.
No, they're not a commercial species, and they're not very. I've tried one a long time ago, and there's certainly nothing spectacular about them. And and I think because they come into molt, anything like a crayfish or a crab that molts, they go soft, and their meat is quite flavourless and not much of it, while rubbery or jelly until they form their shell again. And So whether, no, but they're definitely not a commercial species, and but we're just a very mysterious animal that comes, and they're part of the ecosystem. They eat a lot of stuff. We don't quite know what, and then obviously stuff eats them, but we don't know where they go and what eats them. So very mysterious creatures.
So them shedding their shell in the waters, then, in that number, is there sort of shell remnants and fragments and stuff floating around?
Yeah, not floating, but you're right. There is. You see them, you think, oh, there's a dead one, but that's actually their shell that they've discarded. And I think this is why they come into the shallows and into coffins, because the harder shell ones can sort of get on top of them or protect the ones that are actually molting and give them protection. I know when we dive for crayfish in the reefs, you can get soft shell crayfish, but they're always tucked up in the back of the caves for protection. But no, so I think it's one of the evolutionary things they do, and we have other species that come into the bay to breed into kingfisher or snapper and other species. But yeah, the crab ones because it's not every year, and there's no set. Well, just don't know anything about them, so we don't know why and when.
And how long do they disappear, do you think?
Well, that's the thing. They're here for a little bit, and I've never taken a lot of notice of them because we don't harvest, catch them, eat them, or do anything like that. We just go, oh, there they are, and then you don't, when they disappear, you don't sort of think, oh, they're gone. But certainly the mass numbers will know when they leave our farm at the frontier when they start to dissipate. But it's certainly part of the whole reef system, and we looking at restoring old native oyster reefs in Coffin Bay, and we think this crab aggregations and march should be part of that, and so I think there'll be a lot more people showing a lot more interest, which they have in Port Phillip Bay for the last 2 years. Elodie Camprasi, she's an expert on them, and they only started studying them 2 years ago. They only thought they were in Port Phillip Bay in Tasmania. Didn't even know they existed in South Australia.
Wow.
So that's unusual.
A random question for you, Lester. We're expecting nearly 20 mils of rain in Adelaide. How's the rainfall on the Eyre Peninsula at the moment where you are?
Wet, yep, no doubt about it. We've a bit of a discussion this morning. I got drowned going and getting a few crabs for the Today Show this morning out there and wading around. But no, we've had up around 20 mil of rain here this morning. It's been fantastic.
Wow. Well, the things you do for a TV show, hey, Lester, we won't make you do it for us.
That's okay. No trouble at all.
Thank you for joining us, Lester Marshall, their Coffin Bay oyster farmer, on those spider crabs. Fascinating. They only started studying them 2 years ago.
They've found a good spot. I mean, it is a beautiful part of the world down there. You don't blame the crabs. They've finally found it, and that's where they're all going to go. A few ticks coming through on the Dutton's text line. Mark in Barry Hill says, I've seen spider crabs at Port Vincent Marina while fishing 20 years ago. A few, but not massive numbers. And Peter says the spider crab migration regularly happens in Port Phillip Bay, but it's captured the attention of Australians right around the country, and you'll doubtless see more pictures of them over the course of the today. We have the best tickets to Saturday night's game between the Crows and St Kilda that you can imagine that we're going to give away in the next 15 minutes. Luce, what do they include?
The bunker, the Gage Road Brewing Co. bunker, all thanks to Channel 7. So if you can't make it to the Crows game, you can watch it live and free on Channel 7 straight after 7 News at 7 p.m. But this bunker valued at $380. It includes a pre-game dinner box, as well as halftime Balfour's footy pies and pasties, mini desserts, a continuous 4-hour beverage package, and you get to see the team warm up and the halftime address in the rooms. And your reserved seating is in the Riverbank stand in level 1, so you don't want to miss your opportunity to see the Crows take on St Kilda from the bunker. Now, you came across something yesterday which you felt adequate for this competition.
I thought this is particularly given to the creativity and the sports fandom of the FIVEAA Breakfast listener. And it comes to us by way of one of the more peculiar elements of what has been a very strange US presidential race. Have a listen to Donald Trump out on the hustings yesterday challenging the US President, Joe Biden, to a particular sporting contest.
I'm also officially challenging Cricket Joe to an 18-hole golf match right here. Underow's Blue Monster, considered one of the greatest tournament golf courses anywhere in the world, one of the great courses of the world. It will be among the most watched sporting events in history, maybe bigger than the Ryder Cup or even the Masters. And I will even give Joe Biden 10 strokes aside. 10 strokes, that's a lot. That means 20 strokes in case you don't play golf. I will give him 10 strokes aside, and if he wins, I will give the charity of his choice, any charity that he wants, $1 million. And I'll bet you he doesn't take the offer.
It's been one of the peculiar subplots to the presidential race, the golf bragging that's gone on. Maybe, in fact, it's a presidential race that broke out in the midst of a golf brag. In any case, the challenge has been set. Joe Biden said it was weird and sort of dismissed it for his part. But we're asking you this morning for the bunker tickets. Come up with a sporting contest that we could have Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton contest. What sport would you like to see them face off in to determine who should be the leader of our country? If it's golf for Joe Biden and Donald Trump, what's the sport that Peter Dutton and Anthony Albanese should face off in here in Australia? Get your thinking caps on, come up with a contest, and someone is going along to the Adelaide Oval on Saturday night in the comfort of the bunker for putting their thinking cap on this morning.
8223 0000. Have a think and call us with your answers. In the meantime, we'll check traffic. Enjoy improved wellbeing and fitness in a welcoming, fun environment at Brain Body Fitness Studio, Unley and Woodville.
Down roads with those passing showers from early in the morning, and got some localised flooding to look out for too at O'Halloran and Hill. It's at South Road at Majors Road. Carvey Stobie Pole causing dramas at Keswick, as you'd expect, Richmond Road near Railway Terrace, and urgent electrical works this morning at Parallelway, Kings Road near Whites Road. You'll find cameras Kensington Road at Rosalind Park and Marion Road at Glynn. The Honda ZRV and CRV 23 build stock clearance is on now. Get 8 years warranty and roadside assist, plus Honda genuine floor mats. Hurry while stocks last. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Some blocks of land are flat. Some aren't. Some may need a retaining wall. Some may need more than that. But for all blocks, Rossdale is there to help. They'll do a free site inspection, tell you what you need to know about your land, and save you time and money in the end. Whether it's a custom home, standard design, split level or 2-story, Rossdale has it covered. Now that's a builder you can trust. Rossdale Homes, because trust is a must.
Remember when milk came in bottles? I mean real glass bottles. It somehow tasted better, and it was better for the planet. That's why the FIVEAA Milk Company have brought it back. Milk in a glass bottle. Thanks to you, the reduction in single-use plastic bottles is already proving phenomenal, and the numbers continue to grow. Join the fight to reduce plastic single-use bottles and look for milk refill stations in your supermarket. Visit fleuriomilkco.com.au for more.
Electric vehicles are incredible, so if you own one or you're thinking of buying one, it's definitely a great move. What's not so great is running out of charge, though, or driving around town or verbs, praying that you can find a charge station that's not already in use before you run out of juice.
That's why it's best to get in touch with BC EV Chargers. They're fully qualified electricians. BC EV Chargers specialise in all makes of electric vehicle charging systems. And because no two systems are the same, they're happy to discuss the best system for your situation. In fact, they're certified experts in the field of electric vehicle charging, working with big brands like RAA and ChargeFox.
So if you drive an electric vehicle, the message is simple. Charge at home and you're free to roam with BC EV Chargers. Visit bcevchargers.com.au.
Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip, and now there's Barossa Mazda, Murray Street, Nuriupa. SA's newest Mazda dealership is now open. For 40 years, Steinborner has provided South Australians with outstanding customer service, exceptional value, and a large selection of new, used and demo vehicles. The Steinborner story continues with the opening of their new state-of-the-art Mazda dealership in Barossa Valley. Barossa Mazda. It's well worth the trip. barossamazda.com.au.
Visit your local Hyundai dealer for offers on a wide range of models. Don't miss out. T's and C's apply.
5AA Winter Breakfast. Will Goodings and Lucy Lokan.
We'll get to your sporting thoughts in a moment. What would you like to see Anthony Albanese and Peter Dutton face off in a competition a la Trump and Biden's golf idea? We'll get to that in a moment. But first, Fuel Watch. Members save on RAA Solar, RAA Innovation Proprietary Limited, SA Building Licence number 319335. Still cheap at the moment. Ex-Convenience Grand Junction Road, Port Adelaide, $1.67. The OTR Seacombe Road in Seaview Downs is $1.69. The Ex-Convenience Hamilton Terrace in Newton is $1.67. Cheapest diesel this morning at the United on Main North Road in Paraka, $1.78.
I'm cracking up at the text coming from the Dutton's text line. We'll get to those in a moment. Let's take some calls first, though. Donald Trump's challenged Joe Biden to a game of golf. If a sporting contest had to decide who was the Prime Minister of Australia, what are we pitting Albo and Peter Dutton against each other
Now,
in?
these are for the Crows versus St Kilda Channel 7 bunker tickets. Good luck. Let's start with Michael in Campbelltown. What do you think, Michael?
Hi, Lucy. Hi, Will. How are you, mate? First time I spoke to you, but I spoke to your dad yesterday. He's a good man, too.
He goes all right.
Yeah, listen, mate, I've got this organised already now. We won't say best of 5 sets, the best of 3 sets in Australia's most marginal seat, Boothby.
Yes.
Right? Boothby, right, which covers parts of Glenelg and Somerton. The Somerton Park Tennis Club would be more than happy to accommodate them. I don't know about crowd figures. Yeah.
I like it. Best of 3-set tennis match in the marginal seat of Boothby at the Somerton Park Tennis Club. Magnificent setting. I can see it, Michael. I don't mind it. Let's go to Largs Bay. Albo v Duts. What's the sport, Mark?
Yes, well, I don't want the tickets, guys, but I reckon an egg and spoon race would shut them both up because they'd have their mouth full.
Yep, old school primary school
There's
sports day style. Let's go Jimmy in Salisbury. What's your game thought, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'd love to see them play darts, see who gets the highest scores accurately, like they haven't been accurately lately.
Yeah, that's
Fair
right.
enough.
I don't know why. I just would back Albo in a game of darts. Can't explain it. Adam in Port Noarlunga, good morning.
Good morning to you both. So, in the left corner is Anthony, the angry Albanese, and he comes out to the music Down Under by Men at Work, and then Peter, the Rita Eater Dutton, he comes out under the song I Still Call Australia Home, and they take each other on in the ring.
A good old-fashioned boxing bout, Adam.
I love the walkout music idea.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you,
good.
Adam. Greg in West Croydon, what do you reckon?
Morning. I'd like to see them both face off in a catch the rolling cheese on a hill competition.
Like they do in
Gloucestershire, I think it is in the
That's
UK.
right.
You know,
in England.
Greg, I reckon if you can find us a hill around here that would be adequate, we need to introduce Adelaide's own cheese rolling comp.
cheese rolling, two-man cheese rolling.
They can
for the
be
leadership
our,
of Australia.
Albo
Why
and
not?
Duts can be our honorary first cheese rolling comp. Thank you, Greg. Great suggestion. Anna in Dernacourt, what do you think?
I think we have to have them doing the Great Australian Cane Toad race. Or, yeah.
I'm with you.
So
I'm with you.
do they race a cane toad, Anna, or is there a cane toad named after each of them that we see race?
I think you could put cane toads in the pit, things like nuclear power, to see what comes across the line first.
Well, that could be the way we resolve every policy debate in Australia. I think you're onto
Love
something
it.
there, Anna. Thank you. Let's go to Woodville West. Frank, good morning.
Good morning.
What's your sporting concept, Frank, for Albo against Duts?
I had the same idea. Good boxing round. Yeah, with Dutton coming out with a Rocky theme. And I don't know what Albo would come out with, but yeah, a good boxing match.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think
you, Frank.
It just sort of lends it to itself. Political stoushes always feel like boxing bouts. Nick in Burnside, good morning.
Morning, Lucy. Morning, Will. I reckon book the entertainment centre out and a good old-fashioned arm wrestle between Albo and Dutton, with Pauline being the adjudicator.
Ah, now you're talking. It sells out in 10 minutes, I think, that event. I don't think it goes for 10 minutes.
I was going to say
Shirts
arm
off,
wrestle.
oiled up, Pauline in the middle.
Yeah, do you do sort of best of 3 sets or something, Nick, or just a once-off arm wrestle, winner takes all?
No.
Right arm,
you
left
go your
arm.
good arm, then your weaker arm. Yeah, weaker arm, good arm, and then if there's no winner, Pauline's in the middle, just helping who she thinks should win, and the crowd cheering going off. I think it'd be fantastic.
Love it.
You
Thank
painted
you,
an
Nick.
evocative picture of the future of Australian democracy, Nick. I like it. Janet, good morning.
Good morning. I think they should have best out of 3 marbles and see if they can find each other's.
Couple of cat's eyes.
Simple
That'd be
but
good.
effective.
Definitely lost their marbles, the pair of them.
Thank you, Janet. Amber in North Haven, good morning.
Oh, good morning, boys. I think hopscotch, because they've both got no direction. They're just stopping all over the place.
Hopscotch. I love the concept of these old school primary sports day type ones.
Who wins it?
I can't go past the cane toads.
You like the cane toads?
Because you can have multiple, like Anna and Dernancourt said, with the one cane toad could be nuclear power.
All right. Now the challenge is, who was cane toads again?
Anna and Dernancourt.
Anna and Dernancourt.
Write them down.
Yeah. Oh, well done, Luce. This is the difference between
Anna and Dernancourt.
you and I.
Congratulations, you are off to the Crows bunker when they take on St Kilda, all thanks to Channel 7. But for those who can't get there, watch Channel 7 straight after
ideas.
7 News at 7 p.m. Anna, you'll get your bunker at $380. Have a wonderful time. We've got to quickly read out some of these texts, which are just funny. One of them suggested MasterChef, wrestling, 10-pin bowling, Quidditch, the Great Election runoff. Someone said we should roll the cheese down Wollonga Hill.
Now we're talking.
I mean, if that's a viable hill, we can set it up and there'll be our honorary guest speakers.
I only want to be able to commentate the event. I don't care which sport ultimately gets chosen and who issues the challenge or how it happens. I want to be working that night. I'm available. I'm ready to go.
Oh, well, it'll be a full team thing. We'll be
arm
filming.
wrestling, I don't
we'll
care.
be part of it. We'll be commentating. We'll have live streaming. Gosh, there's plenty we could do with it. Thank you for all your comments and thoughts this morning, everyone, this Thursday on the Duttons text line. Save thousands at the big Nissan demonstrator sale on now at Duttons Nissan Murray Bridge. Easy to do business with Friday. Big Friday show tomorrow where we are down at the Central Market to celebrate Bastille Day.
That's right. Looking forward to that. That's
Yeah,
gonna be
you're aware
fun.
of it? You know we're heading down there?
When's that? Friday.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow,
Had a little slip up earlier.
Meat Tray Friday returns. Markets edition. We're celebrating all things French. Dan Houston will join us over the phone. Feedback Friday as well. Looking forward to your company from 6 o'clock. Graham Goodings up next after the news.
It's Milton from Vidola